Good evening, nerds around the world, and welcome to episode 73 of the Nerds Unite as One podcast. It is Paul English. I am your host tonight, and we have a great show for you that's going to be headed by a terrific panel that I'm going to introduce to you right now, beginning with our co-host, our co-founder. It is Chris Miller. What's going on?
Yes, what's going on? Tonight on Nerds Unite as One, a few individuals will count down our top 10 80s films. And then one many have the potential to be on the list, especially this film, with a quote summed up in 6 words: "I feel the need for speed."
Which also happens to feature a kick-ass fucking soundtrack. Colton Hunt is also joining us. How's it going?
Welcome to a world where the best lines you could ever say are "Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker," and "Get away from her, you bitch!"
Well said. Mike Gulick from Geek Salad has joined us as well. Mike, it is always a pleasure.
Hello, and Paul. I am your father's nephew's brother's cousin's first roommate.
What's that make us?
Absolutely nothing.
All right, Mike, I hate to be this guy to you, but you misquoted it. It's, I am your father's brother's nephew's cousin's former roommate.
I was going off the fly, all right? I don't work well under pressure. Why are you doing this to me?
Ludicrous speed! Now!
Now, Crow Sanders. Chicken.
Oh, yeah, I got it.
Gosh.
All right, and...
You bad beauty bitch.
All right. Max Mitchell has also joined us from the land of the Great White North. How's it going, Max?
Hello, I'm the nostalgia critic. I remember it, so you don't have to. I don't know why I said that, but I'm happy.
Because your picture is a nostalgia
Yeah, I know,
critic?
my picture is a nostalgia critic. But yeah, I'm happy to be here and talk probably the best year for movies ever, the 80s movies. I don't know, but my list comprises of pretty much 80s movies. But seriously, I don't know if anyone has seen the movie Roadhouse.
No, I have not.
That's like the
I'm gonna do
greatest.
Peter Griffin impersonation.
I love Roadhouse. It's so good. Anyways, I'll talk about it later. Oh my god.
All right. So as they have all alluded to, the 80s were a kick-ass fucking decade. I'm almost sorry that much as I love the 90s, I do wish I'd lived during. I do wish I'd grown up during the 80s. Must have been one hell of a time. It was like almost like a decade-long party.
Yeah, it was all right.
The best.
And movies played a big part in that. So today, we're going to be paying tribute to that great decade by counting down our top 10 favorite movies from the 1980s. This is going to be a very fun list, I'm sure of it. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get started. Chris, I'm coming to you first. Give me your number 10 favorite movie from the 1980s.
Okay, my number 10 favorite movie from the 80s is Ghostbusters. The original Ghostbusters. Yes.
Wow, she's kind of low.
Huh? Excuse me?
It just seems a little low, that's all.
You know a lot of people who put it on their list. You know, come on. But I wasn't trying to. I mean, if you put it on your list, that's fine. But come on. I mean, Ghostbusters is good, but it's not, great. Hey! It's really good.
Do I need to mute your ass again?
What? What?
Do I need to mute your ass again?
Okay, it's a little overrated. Okay, all right.
No, we're all friends here.
Hey, I'll do it again. I don't mind him watching him.
Hey, mother puss bucket. Mother puss bucket. What the hell, man?
What the hell is going on?
Oh, you missed our great Civil War moment, Mac. You left too soon. Oh, no, not that. It was the episode after that. We were counting down, we were having a countdown, a movie countdown or something, and Chris was rattling off a bunch of bullshit, so near the end, I muted his ass, and he pulled off one hell of a temper tantrum.
It was our top summer movies. Chris kept booing several movies that we all loved. He booed films like National Lampoon's Vacation, and then he kept listing very bad summer films on his list as a joke. Like he said that Batman and Robin was his favorite, and we're like, Chris, and then Paul was like, Chris, you do it one more time and you're done.
Yeah, and I muted his ass, and he threw the best damn temper tantrum of all time, and it's recorded for eternity.
I might watch that later. No, not I might. I think I will, but yeah.
All right.
Oh my goodness. Yes,
Continue, Chris.
Ghostbusters. I don't think there's ever been a movie as charming or as hilarious or as imaginative or as, just darn entertaining as this one. Yeah, I have my hesitation about the upcoming reboot, with all that stuff. But if that sucks, which is a possibility, I can always go back to this classic.
Yeah.
True.
I agree. I'll be back in like 5 minutes.
Okay.
All right, Max. As I was saying before, this is probably, just like, one of the most impeccably cast in comedies like this. You got, of course, Bill Murray is hilarious as always, but this is probably like my favorite movie he's been in. I know there's Stripes, I know there's Groundhog Day. I know there's a lot of other movies he's known for, but this one is he's never been so charismatic. It's just very wry, very laid back, very cool. Investigator of the paranormal. Of course, the guy got Dan Aykroyd. You got Harold Ramis, God rest his soul. And of course, you got other great cast members like Sigourney Weaver. And of course, Rick Moranis as the very hapless Luz Tilly. I love Rick Moranis. You can't help but love this guy. Especially when he was in Spaceballs. Especially. But yeah. But this movie is relentlessly inventive. It's got great dialogue, and I'm starting to say Mother Puss Bucket from now on. It's probably going to be my favorite cast. Oh my goodness, But yeah, it's like, who doesn't like Ghostbusters? Sure, the sequel sucked. It could have been more, but this movie, this one is just like, no matter what may come after it, it's kind of underrated to me, to be saying myself. But no matter what may come, no matter what may try to bring this movie down, it'll always come out on top. Remember what silly reboots or sequels come its way, this one will have an appeal that will last. It's just too damn good.
Indeed,
I will say the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man is probably one of the best surprises in any film. It's like, man, what's the destroyer going to be? Is it going to be some sort of demonic figure or whatever? It's like, nope, it's a giant
Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. All right, thank you, Chris. Nice start. All right, Colton, you are up. Give me number 10 on your list.
Number 10 on my list is Rocky 3.
A pit of fool.
Yes.
Something wrong, Chris?
No, it's just I hate Rocky 3.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, come on. It's not near as bad as Rocky 5.
None of the Rocky sequels are any good except Rocky Balboa.
What about Rocky 2?
No, it's not good.
Hey, Rocky 4, he defeats communism, all right?
Yeah.
I'll admit Rocky 5 was mildly enjoyable. Okay,
Don't forget about great people.
Okay, I need to stop.
Hey, Matt.
I warned him. This is what he's gonna get for saying stupid shit.
Okay, while Chris is busy ranting his unheard. What I was saying about Rocky 3 is that when it comes to the original set of Rocky films, I think this actually might be the best sequel. Like Rocky 2, I don't think it's bad, but I also don't think it was necessary. So I liked how Rocky 3 took some of the lesser aspects of Rocky 2 and made a great story out of it. like we saw in Rocky 2 that Rocky's life sucked without.
Hookers.
Are you finished, Chris?
For now.
As I was,
I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. Go on.
As I was saying, so we saw that Rocky's life sucked without boxing during Rocky 2, so to see him ruling the world as the heavyweight champion and then subsequently lose that title because he lost sight of what made him a fighter was an interesting, if somewhat inevitable twist, as the only place to go in a rags to riches story is back to rags. And despite some of Stallone's cheesier moments of acting in the movie, the scene where Mickey dies was pretty well acted. You know, he's letting Mickey go out with a smile, saying it was a knockout, and Mickey's like, "We did it," and Rocky's like, "Yeah, we did." It shows that Stallone, for all his faults, you know, he can, and for all his somewhat cinematic crimes throughout time, he can still be a good actor when he does try. I also liked how Apollo, of all people, helped Rocky find himself again when he easily could have just been the antagonist of the story arc and never be brought up again after Rocky 2. But most important of all, this movie gave the world Mr. fucking T.
Oh, Thunder Lips. That fight was awesome.
I'm getting to that, Max. Yeah, give us Mr. T, who might be the best. Well, I think he might be the, at least in the original series, I think he might be the best of the antagonist boxers. Like you can tell that he was going to kick you. You can tell that he might be a guy that likes to talk a lot, but he can easily back up it. He's a person that talks a lot, but can easily back it up. You know that he can kick your ass if you push him, you know. And I liked how he kind of talked to Rocky, like things like talking to Adrian, saying, "Hey, you want to get with a real man?" The Rocky's like, "You want to fight? You got it." It's like,
oh yeah, I love this. Hey woman, since your man got no heart. Oh, I love that scene.
It's like, you can say anything you want about Rocky, but you mess with his wife, you're gonna pay the price. Granted, the one that paid the price was Mickey, but Rocky avenged him in the end. But yeah, the fight with Hulk Hogan, aka Thunder Lips, that was like, as James Rolfe, the angry video game nerd, said, that scene comes completely out of nowhere. It has nothing to do with the movie, but it's satisfying as all hell, you know?
Oh yeah,
amazing.
It's like a random fight with Hulk Hogan showing up, and it's like he's totally kicking Rocky's ass. It's like, I'm surprised that Rocky's back didn't get snapped in half during that fight, but it was just like totally badass, you know? It was very well filmed. It's like you could really feel that Hulk Hogan could really kick Rocky's ass.
I love when Paulie comes with the chair to kind of help Rocky out and throws the chair to Thunder Lips and it breaks.
Yeah, you could just tell, like, Hulk Hogan was just having the time of his life, just hamming it up.
The ultimate man!
The ultimate meatball!
And, of course, we can't forget about Eye of the Tiger, another classic song from the Rocky series.
Mike's got it.
Go Collins, baby! Woo!
Were you waiting for me to say that? Bring that up, Mike?
Oh, of course. That's my favorite part of that movie. Come on.
It's like it's so iconic.
The only redeeming part of that movie.
It's like it's so iconic that it's almost hard to imagine. It's almost hard to imagine the Rocky series without it. Even though, and yeah, when you think about it, I think Eye of the Tiger is only played in Rocky 3, but
no, they played in Rocky 4, I believe.
Okay, yeah. And I also like how,
as my Geeks Out co-host Andy will say, if you do not like Eye of the Tiger, you are un-American.
I also love how the movie ends, you know, with Rocky and Apollo having a friendly match between each other, and it ends with them throwing a punch at one another. You know, if that was like, had that been the end of the Rocky series for good, I would have been satisfied with that. And I also give this movie its props for how it cut the usual crap of some of the usual Rocky fights, where they go the full 15 rounds and have Rocky take Clubber Lang out in only 3. You know, so we get to finally see the whole fight in its entirety. That was an interesting thing done for the Rocky series, I think. So yeah, Rocky 3 is my number 10.
Not to mention, it also has my favorite version of the Rocky theme. I don't know why. You know what? It has to do with that amazing guitar riff. It's just fucking awesome. So, nice pick, Holden. Nice pick. I almost had that on my list. All right, Mike, you're up next. Give me number 10 on your list.
All right, my number 10 is Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Excellent!
I watched this movie growing up over and over and over. I wore out that VHS because I just had so much fun with that movie. There's no huge plot. It's about two guys who have to pass a history assignment, so they're given a time machine shaped like a phone booth. Okay, she's a Doctor Who right there, but still.
Listen, I haven't seen that movie. I have yet to see it.
Same here.
Oh. If you've seen any Keanu Reeves movie, this movie is where all of those roles came from. Every single movie he's ever done, every single role has just been shades of Ted. And it also helped me decide I wanted to perfect my air guitar. So
All right.
Absolutely, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Get on that pawn, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we will. All right, good pick, Mike. Good pick. All right, Max, you're up next. What's number 10 on your list?
Rocky 4.
You can't be serious.
I mean, okay. Well, before I actually start with talking about my list, I just want to give a couple honorable mentions that might piss a lot of people off. But
Dear Lord, help us.
Ghostbusters,
I'll be like Jack. Excuse me?
Aliens. What else? The Karate Kid, the original movie. Yeah. For me, the 80s symbolizes probably the cheesiest year ever, or the cheesiest decade ever. Seriously, I love the 80s so much. Rocky 4 symbolizes what the 80s is. James Brown is in this movie. What else? There's so many montages. It's amazing. The villain is straight out of a comic book. You know, he feels like a comic book supervillain. It's really over the top. The first sign of over the top was when it's Polly's birthday and then the robot appears. That is just.
I wonder what happened to that robot.
Yeah, I wonder what happened to that robot too. I would have loved to see that robot in Rocky 5. Seriously, I would have loved to see that robot just make a quick appearance. But oh my God, Rocky 4 is so cheesy. It's so over the top, and but it's so fun. It's amazingly fun. There's some great songs. There's a great soundtrack, and it's not a good movie. If you're very if you're a film critic and likes to critique things, that you might not obviously not like this movie, but you have to be aware that it's set in the 80s and it's Rocky versus like a human version of the Hulks. But I loved it. I love it. I've been actually rewatching the Rocky movies because I want to watch Creed. So yeah.
If he dies, he dies.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that was that was probably the only thing this movie had going for it, legitimate story-wise, was the death of Apollo. Otherwise, the story couldn't actually happen.
But I must break you.
But I do like that Creed actually took the death of Apollo and really made something great out of it.
But James Brown was probably the most out of nowhere. I was like, what the hell is he doing in this movie?
That feels good.
Living in America.
Yeah, I will say I don't think the American flag should ever be that close to Apollo Creed's junk.
It's amazing because I love how they're pro-American and also pro-Russian. When Apollo is fighting Rocky, they have this "Living in America," and then when Rocky is fighting Drago, they have the Russian national anthem. It's amazing. All right.
Nice start, Max. All right. And it's over my list. Number 10 on my list is one of the best Christmas movies ever made, Die Hard.
Uh-huh.
Oh, you want to talk about cheesy, over-the-top goodness. This movie has it, but it's so convincing as well. It is so much fun. The one-liners are legendary. The story's simple but fun, and, what? Oh my gosh, I'm so ashamed of myself. Alan Rickman, God rest his soul, one of the best villains ever to come out of any decade. The amazing Hans Gruber. What a villain he was. So yeah, great over-the-top action, amazing one-liners, a legendary performance by Alan Rickman, unbelievable movie, and it's on Christmas Eve, so it makes it a awesome fucking Christmas movie. So Die Hard, number 10 on my list, amazing movie. Now I have a machine gun.
Ho, ho, ho.
Ho, ho.
Welcome to the party, pal.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. All right, Chris, we're coming back to you. Give me number 9 on your list.
Number 9 on my list is Stanley Kubrick's adaptation of Stephen King's The Shining.
Here's Johnny.
Okay, say what you want to, Mike, but man, this scared the bejesus out of me. It is creepy as hell. Yeah, I mean, from what I've heard, it's not entirely faithful to the Stephen King novel, but what Stanley Kubrick does with this movie is like unbelievable. You know, Jack Nicholson is as terrifying as ever in this movie. I mean, the atmosphere in it is just it's so unsettling. You're just terrified the entire time, and there's so many memorable images for this movie. The movie is very hypnotic in this in this approach. Really, and of course it deals with recovering alcoholic played by Jack Nicholson. He's going to be a caretaker of this isolated hotel. His son possesses psychic abilities. How you can see the future, and then just sort of all sorts of poltergeist, ghost, and it's basically just the whole damn thing is haunted. And the whole entire atmosphere of the film doesn't light up. I mean, it's just like. I mean, there's like I said, there's memorable imagery all around, including a really disturbing image of the twins, and the equally disturbing image of the sight of blood coming out of the elevators. Like, yeah, it's not. It's particularly, I mean, we all know for this movie, I mean, it's not for everyone. I mean, Kubrick made films that weren't, that tickled. He just ruffled everyone's feathers, basically. But Jack Nicholson, is probably one of his best performances. Not Oscar worthy, but still, he does a damn fine job. I wasn't too keen on seeing this movie myself. To me, it's still a bit underrated. It's still more scary than most horror films today. I mean, most horror films today are just fucking pitiful. But this one, man, you're in for a ride, definitely. Overrated. Who said that?
Mike.
That was Mike.
The Shining is not. It's not a scary movie, but it's a great movie.
It's Jack Nicholson being crazy Jack Nicholson again.
No.
That's apparently why Stephen King hated his casting. He's like, Jack going crazy was supposed to be a plot twist, but with Jack Nicholson in the role, obviously the audience was going to catch on.
Yeah, movie's overrated and Kubrick's overrated. So.
No, he's not.
Oh, big time.
How dare you?
Wow.
Do we have to mute you?
Do I have to mute you, Mike? Jeez.
I mean,
I mute myself. What the?
Admittedly, I've never seen any Kubrick movies, but I mean, I do know that he is a legendary filmmaker, so that's kind of a bold statement.
That doesn't mean he's a good filmmaker.
Silence!
He's a good filmmaker.
That's like saying Steven Spielberg's overrated.
No, it's
Anyone who
not.
says Steven Spielberg is overrated should desires to be desires. I mean, should get a punch in the fucking throat. That's just me.
I like Steven Spielberg, so I mean, yeah, I would go with that. All right, Colton, give me number 9 on your list.
Number 9 on my list is Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Oh, great movie.
I don't know what's more hilarious, the fact that they actually managed to get this many cartoon characters together in one movie despite them not being from the same studio, or the fact that this movie is an obvious parody of the film noir genre, yet it still fits comfortably in the genre. In fact, it might even be better than most of the films in that genre, actually, which is weird because it's about freaking cartoon characters, But it really works, We got Roger Rabbit, Eddie Valiant, Jessica Rabbit. I mean, of course, the very hot tune married to the very comical Roger. How can that work out? And she's like, he makes me laugh. Like, hey, that works, among other things.
The hottest fucking animated woman ever made. No joke.
She's not bad. She's just drawn that way.
Very drawn that way.
Well, it was actually a pretty interesting line, I think, and she kind of worked as your femme fatale character that still had a bit of a two-side in her. Like, I always love the scene where she's like, "Oh my God, it's Deb!" And then she does a wild take pretty quickly. It's like their way of reminding us that yeah, she's a cartoon character. In the scene when one of the weasels tries stealing her up and then gets his hand caught in a bear trap and
movie trap.
yeah.
Oh,
and of
yeah.
course, as all the addition to that, what'd you say, Chris?
Nothing. Go ahead.
I also liked other things like, there's some parallels to racism in this movie with Valiant's the way he views tunes and whatnot, though he comes around to Roger and overcomes prejudice in the end. And of course, Christopher Lloyd makes a very, very great villain in the form of Judge Doom. You know, it's like probably the most obvious. He's probably the most obviously evil character ever made next to Darth Vader. Yet he still works. You know, he doesn't feel like a bad joke or anything. His performance just really carried it. And of course, we can't forget the ever iconic "Remember Yeti? When I killed your brother, I taught you." Well, I can't go on. Of course,
No, I can't do it very well, can I?
But I mean, I give them their props. They did a very good job pulling that off. And it's like it should have been obvious that Doom was the Doom that killed Eddie's brother, but it still was a very effective reveal and with a very good performance from Christopher Lloyd. And it's a very good film. The comedy is excellent, but they also know how to pull off the dramatic stuff. Though going back to the comedy, probably one of my favorite moments is when Valiant is falling and then he falls alongside Bugs Bunny and Mickey Mouse, and they both decide to screw him over, like, hey, let's give him a spare, why don't we? And then it's like a spare tire.
Yeah, you stinker.
Oh, yes, you are, Bugs. Yeah, fucking.
All right. Mike, you are up next. Give me number 9 on your list.
First, Jessica Rabbit or Hollywood?
What?
Huh?
You guys have never seen The World? Try looking up pictures of Hollywood. HOLLIWOULD.
Am I going to regret this, Mike?
Are you trying to say that Elmer Fudd or something?
No, it's another very interestingly drawn female cartoon.
Is this the kind of thing I want to delete from my history after I've looked it up?
It's up to you. Anyway, my number 9 is probably my favorite John Carpenter movie, Big Trouble in Little China.
Okay.
This one combines the best elements of it's essentially a love lesson to the old old kung fu movies, but it stars Kurt Russell as Jack Burton, who's he's got a bigger mouth than he does action, but he's so much fun to watch. You guys have never seen this movie, have you?
Nope.
I have not.
I had to make time, though. I've seen
that?
great John Carpenter movies, though.
Yeah.
I have seen that movie.
All right, cool. Good one, Max. It's just
a great movie.
Yes, it is a great movie. Like I said, it's a love letter to kung fu movies, but it's got great comedy in it. It's got great action. Kim Cattrall is really, really hot in it. And it's just so much fun. Yeah, okay. I can't really go more than that.
All right. Thank you, Mike. All right, Max, you're up. Give me number 9 on your list.
My number 9 is Cobra with Sylvester Stallone.
Oh!
This movie currently has a 16% on 13% on Rotten Tomatoes, but it's so cheesy and it's just so much fun that whoever's watching this movie will have. I mean, the opening scene of that movie, Stallone says, "You're the disease and I'm the cure," and then he shoots the guy. It's a relatively short movie. It is it's 87 minutes long, but it is filled with so much adrenaline-fueled action that you are never bored. From the very first action scene to the very last, you are never bored. The Cannon Group is one of the best movie studios on the planet, and it's one of the. I mean, obviously, Mike is shaking his head.
They make such really bad movies.
Death Wish 3 is awesome.
Ooh. Ooh. We want to talk about
They
that.
made
Let's talk about
the Canon Group made Superman 4: The Quest for Peace.
We did not speak of that movie here.
Yeah, we will not mention that god awful atrocity here.
But they also made
the best Superman movie ever.
And that was one of their better films.
Cobra. They made all the Chuck Norris movies.
Ooh.
They made Bloodsport, and they also made what did they make? The Apple, which is so bad.
Yes, they also made Masters of the Universe.
Oh yeah, they made Masters. Oh my god, I love the Canon Group. I literally watched like every single one of their movies. I cannot get tired of it. Cobra is one of their best.
Really?
I'm just saying.
Okay.
All right.
Shot.
I think everyone on this list is. I mean, other than me, I don't think I've ever seen any movies, except Superman 4, but we will not mention that here. Okay. I had to make a change to my list because Colton brought up a movie that I realized should be on here. So my number 10 is actually. So Die Hard's been booted. The new number 10 on my list is actually Back to the Future. Absolutely stellar movie. Y'all know why. I don't need to explain it. Number 9. So my new number 9 is the Richard Donner classic, The Goonies.
Okay.
This movie is just a load of fun. Everything about it is just gold.
Goonies never say die.
That's it. You're done, Chris. I am not going to let him insult my Goonies. No way. That movie was such a big part of my childhood.
I think Chris
Goonies
froze.
never say die.
Exactly. But we do say shut up. But they do say shut up. And
Shut up!
And I just told Chris to shut up.
I was just joking about the Goonies. I mean, I have actually seen the Goonies.
Well, you need to specify that. Okay? I do not understand sarcasm, Chris. So, if you try that again, I'm going to mute you again. Or worse.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Goonies just, an adventure classic. I absolutely love it. So yeah, I don't have too much to say. I mean, it's just an amazing movie. You haven't seen it yet. Where the hell have you been? Go watch it. Now. No. All right. Anyone going to do the Trouble Shuffle? Please don't.
Okay. Let me do it. Let me just turn on my...
Okay, Max, I was joking. Please, for the love of God, don't do it. I don't want to see your stomach.
Of course, I'm going to do that.
All right. Please, no one do it. Okay. Moving on. Chris, we're back to you. Give me number 8 on your list.
Number 8 on my list is Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Ferris Bueller. Mm-hmm. Matthew Broderick, Mia Sarah, Al Roke. He can't find a lovable, more dynamic trio in this movie. In a movie like this, you can't really it's what kind of alchemy that went into making this movie. It's just like so this is infectious, and this is like, yeah, can we talk enough about Ferris Bueller's Day Off? I don't think we can, because it's so damn good. This is this kid. I don't know, he's home like a slacker, but he's trying to avoid. He's trying to he decides he's going to skip school. He's just for the health. He's going to have a damn fun time, but he has to deal with it. The school's dean of students and his rather resentful sister, and make sure that the dean of students is not in his path. And he's going to do his best. And of course, the dean of students, played by Jeffrey Jones, who's played the wonderful Mr. Rooney, and he's going to do whatever. He is just merciless. He is relentless. He's going to do whatever he can to make sure that Ferris pays for playing hooky.
Ferris Bueller's Online too.
So you kiss my big white behind the scenes. It's like Ferris Bueller's Online too, and it has so many great moments, such as that. Of course, you have Al Rock doing Mr. Peterson, trying to get Ferris's girlfriend Sloan out. I'm sorry, Mr. Peterson. I didn't. I offered you somebody who I hope you are, for Christ's sake. You know, I said, do not ever disrespect me. Do you call me Buster? Huh?
Mr. Furman, this is Sergeant Peterson, Chicago Police.
This is Sergeant Peterson, the Chicago Police, and the guy, the guy at the restaurant was just a pain in the ass, but of course, he had that wonderful moment where they were singing, the Beatles, of course, he got that. Of course, you have like that cool the Ferrari. Oh my God, who would get to have a car like? I would sell my soul to have a car like that. No, not really. I mean, I would sell my left nut. Okay, not that either, but still. It's a pretty damn cool car to have.
Oh, don't worry, you can make babies with one nut. It's fine. Or worst come to worst, just make sure you get all your sperm out and then just sell them both.
Oh. Yeah. I mean, is it hard? It probably comes close to it. It's just a damn good time. I mean, you could say it is a product of its time. It's quite a little bit, just like the tone, the attitude. But what transcends it, it's just the spirit of it. I mean, it's just a damn good movie to watch. It has of course, life moves pretty fast. Don't stop. Look once in a while, you can miss it. But yeah, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, awesome movie.
There's so many 80s movies that I still need to see. That is one of them. I've yet to see Ferris Bueller. I gotta get on to it.
That is blasphemous. What is wrong with you? How could you? I don't even know you anymore. Oh my.
Kiss my white ass.
Hey! Don't you go all Mr. Bruni on me.
I've been saying that line for years.
Okay. All right.
All right, Colton, number 8 on your list.
Number 8 on my list is Back to the Future.
All right.
I talked about this movie at length in previous videos, so I'll try to keep this a little short. But yeah, the best thing about Back to the Future has to be Michael J. Fox and Christopher Lloyd as Marty and Doc Brown. They're probably one of the best on-screen duos ever. Definitely in the top 10. Their chemistry is amazing. They really do feel like good friends. So when Marty thinks that the Doc has died, you really do feel the pain in his voice when he's like, "No, you bastards!" And of course, despite that very traumatic opening, that very traumatic moment in the first act of the movie, the film is still very, very funny. We got Marty and his very dorky dad George, played by Crispin Glover. Of course, we got the Darth Vader scene. Silence, Earthling. My name is Darth Vader. Next to address you over the planet. Okay.
Darth Vader came down and told me that Darth Vader from Planet Vulcan told me if I don't take the brain out, that he'd melt my brain.
I'm surprised. Something's actually kind of bothering me. I'm surprised that. No, wait, no, never mind. I take it back. That movie takes place in 55. That was before Star Trek. I'm thinking it was 85. My mind's going in a loop. Never mind. Go on, Colton.
This is about like Star Wars and Star Trek coming out and no one being confused about it. Well, I don't know. It's like, yeah, it's a hilarious film. Let's not forget about I'm Your Density, Lorraine. And Lorraine is just staring at him. And yeah, Lee Thompson, she was a great act. She was very, very hot as Lorraine, but she was also a good actress in it as well. And let's see who else. Even though she wasn't
get out of here.
What?
It's leave, you idiot. Make like a tree and leave. It's not like a damn fool when you say it wrong.
And even though she was only in the movie for a little bit, I also liked Jennifer, played by this movie. Wait a minute.
Colton, if I ever go to your job and I make some reports, if they see my reports in your handwriting, if I make you do some reports and you come out with your handwriting, I'll get fired. Now, you wouldn't want that to happen, would you? Would you?
No, I would not want that to happen.
Okay.
All right, so here's what he'll do, Chris. He'll just finish it up and he'll run it over to you first thing Saturday morning.
Yeah, that's early. What the hell is that?
But I also liked, even though she was only in the movie for a little bit, I liked Claudia Wells as Jennifer. I felt like she and Michael J. Fox had good chemistry with one another. And of course, there's like a boatload of iconic scenes in this movie, most notably being the Marty trying to get back to the future, and of course, the car flies. I mean, That is something I did not see that coming, and it's still badass. Roads, where we're going, we don't
need
roads. And it's still one of the best special effects I've ever seen. You know, it's like I've never been able to figure out how they did that. You know, and I never actually looked it up because I kind of want to keep that mystery for myself. But yeah, it was awesome seeing the car fly. There was a lot of great villains. The scene where George stands up to Biff is also another greatly filmed scene. It's like you really feel like Biff is about to break his arm, and George just winds himself up for one final punch, and then BAM! And the way he just stares at his hand, he's like, "Holy crap! So this is what confidence feels like." And he never looked back. And of course, the Enchantment Under the Sea dance is still very heartwarming and romantic. I mean, yeah, there is like some. I might have like a little one or two issues with how Lorraine kind of just immediately went running into George's arm. Well, then again, she felt kind of weird when she was with Marty after she kissed him. So that was it. But it was still a very iconic moment, and I love Johnny Be Good, despite the unfortunate implications of Marty stealing the song from Chuck Berry, even though he technically learned it from Chuck Berry, so it's not really stolen, but oh my head.
Never try to understand time travel, okay? That's something I've learned from Star Trek. Just don't question time travel.
Exactly.
Don't
forget about the skateboard chase. It's like Marty just jumps into their car, out of it, lands on the skateboard, and then they turn around, see the truck, and they're like, "Shit!"
I hate manure.
Manure! I hate manure!
Number 8 on my list, it's Back to the Future. Mayor Tony Wilson. I like the sound of that.
Nice one. All right. Keep it going. Mike, you're up. Give me number 8 on your list.
All right. Number 8 on my list is a sequel. The original was had the tagline of "In space, no one can hear you scream." This one's tagline was "This time, it's war."
Oh baby, game over, man. Game over.
I mean, it's not often when, in my personal opinion, a sequel can overpass the original. I love the original Alien. Aliens, I think, was a bit more. It just had that extra. I mean, it was a full-on horror action film, and I mean, Ripley just showed what a completely badass she is. When when she just starts, when she's going in for the final confrontation, she's picking up that grenade launcher machine gun, strapping them together, loading them up, and she gets the flamethrower on there too.
She's ready to get the shit on.
Oh yeah, I mean, she's just going through killing aliens, and then she gets to the Queen's chamber. She looks up at the Queen. She puts that flamethrower right down, and the Queen, and she's like, okay, who's gonna blink first?"
Like, back off, bitch.
She's basically like, fuck it, I'm gonna.
Yeah, and she rescues dude, and then she just torches the whole thing anyway, dude. Ripley is a badass. This movie proved it, and I mean, every single scene is just, you know what? I'm not a huge fan of James Cameron now, but James Cameron in the 80s and 90s, I am a huge fan of, and this is one of the main reasons why he really just crushed. He just took everything that Ridley Scott did in the original Alien and just kicked it up to 11.
You had to combine action and story.
Exactly, and horror, because there's some scary moments there, dude. When he they're in that med bay and she wakes up, she sees the broken face hugger vial there.
Yeah,
dude.
Oh yeah. You're creeped out the entire time.
Oh yeah.
Like they realized that Burke trapped. It's like Burke set her up to get infected. I mean, damn him.
Yeah, and Paul Reiser is just a great dick.
Yeah, a slime at best. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, my number 8 is Aliens.
All right, thank you, Mike. Max, you're up next. Give me number 8 on your list.
Oh, this is also gonna piss off a lot of people, but
boy.
When I think about 80s, I think about over-the-top movies. Another over-the-top movie is a movie called another movie by the Cannon Group. That's Bloodsport with Jean-Claude Van Damme.
I think I'm gonna throw up.
This movie is so bad, but it's just, honestly, it's really good. like the first act of the movie is a little slow, but then the second act of the movie is just Jean-Claude Van Damme being Jean-Claude Van Damme and basically just kicking ass and taking names. He doesn't need to have a story. It's just fights after fights after fights after fight, and it's over the top, it's cheesy, and it's above all awesome. For me, when I watch 80s movies, what I want to see is like when I say, "Oh yeah, fuck yeah, that was awesome." That for me is an 80s movie.
The final fight becomes better if you imagine it as Johnny Cage versus Liu Kang.
Yeah.
I'm just going through a list of all the canon movies, and I see that they made one good one.
What was it?
They made the original Highlander.
No, they did not.
Yeah, they did.
Did it?
They did.
Highlander 2 is a much better film.
No, it's not.
Highlander 2 is widely considered the worst movie ever made.
I know, I'm kidding.
I mean, sometimes I prefer the TV series myself.
I am kidding.
TV series was pretty good. I like that one too.
Be assured, my list does get better.
There can be only one.
All right. Time to move on. Okay. So number 8 on my list, we have there's a great song that goes with this. Trying to remember something about you live in a neighborhood, there's some strange shit going on, and if sometimes shit happens, some people got to deal with it, and who you gonna call? Ghostbusters. Number 8 is Ghostbusters. Come on now.
Hold on, I'm trying to come up with the answer to your question. I should know this answer. Okay.
What, Mike?
You're gonna call someone else.
I didn't see your answer, Mike. I'm sorry. What happened?
No, I was kidding.
Okay. But yeah, Ghostbusters is just one of those iconic fucking movies that everyone it should be on everyone's bucket list. Like once you reach 9, 10 years old, you need to see fucking Ghostbusters. You just do. It is that much of a legendary movie. Well, Bill Murray, Harold Ramis, God rest his soul, Dan Aykroyd, Ernie Hudson, everything about this movie is just gold. I absolutely love it. So yeah, number 8 is Ghostbusters. And Max does need to leave soon, so I'm going to let him finish up his list, and then we'll carry on with everyone else. So, Max, kind of quick as you can, rattle off 7 through 1 for us.
All right, so was it number 7?
Yes.
Another canon movie.
Oh, God.
It's the last one. I'm just saying, it's the last one. It's the Delta Force with Chuck Norris and Lee Marvin. I don't know if you guys have heard of this movie, but this movie is amazing. It's Chuck Norris. He kicks ass. What more can you ask in a Chuck Norris movie?
Plot.
Story.
Good characters.
Intelligence.
But that's what's awesome about the canon group, that they didn't care about that. They just cared about big explosions and action, over the top action. You know what I mean?
Sounds like Michael Bay would have fit in perfectly with these fuckers.
Oh my God, I would have loved to see a Michael Bay movie in the 80s by the canon group with Chuck Norris, Sylvester Stallone.
I'm pretty certain that would be the death of cinema. Cinema would have died. A horrible death.
Pretty sure Bay would have fit in with the 80s group at crowd actually.
Yeah. All right. So 1 minute. All right. Number 6 is RoboCop.
Okay, that's an improvement.
All right, you're coming with me.
I'd buy that for $1, right? That is. It's another cheesy 80s action movie, but this time it has plot. This time it has character development.
Good.
It does not just have action, but it's much better than the 2 other sequels that came out after and the remake. I mean, anyone has watched RoboCop 3?
I've seen I've seen every one of them.
What do you think of
First
RoboCop
one
3?
is a masterpiece. The other 2, not so good.
3 is the worst one.
Ugh, I hate 3.
But RoboCop 1 is really good. I was kind of traumatized when oh my God, was it Alex Murphy got brutally slaughtered by Clarence Boddicker before he becomes RoboCop, and that is a scene that kind of shocked me.
Red Foreman was always an asshole.
I work for
Dumbass.
All right, number 5 is This Is Spinal Tap.
I have yet to see that movie.
I did not like that movie.
I love that. I love that movie. I love that movie. I love when they talk about how the other group members died, and one of them just blows up on stage.
What?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh God.
The Stonehenge bit is absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, Oh God.
Yes. Well, they got Principal Skinner as one of the characters. So.
Yeah, I gotta watch a Pop Star Never Stopping, because it looks like a parody of This Is Spinal Tap. It talks about a musician that doesn't exist and all that stuff, but Spinal Tap it's a lot of fun. It's a movie that everyone should see. Number 4 is Die Hard. Great movie. What more can what more can I add, right? Number 3 is The Empire Strikes Back, Star Wars.
Not allow Empire or Return of the Jedi on here because they're too obvious.
Yeah, but Empire's the best. Empire's the second best Star Wars movie.
What's the best?
One is The Force Awakens. I'm sorry if people didn't think it was the best one, but I cried when I saw this movie. I cried when the opening crawl. It brought me back memories of when I watched Star Wars when I was a kid, so that's why I love that movie. But Empire Strikes Back. Number 2 is The Terminator. I'll be back. It is a cheesy 80s action movie with Schwarzenegger as the Terminator, and it kind of brought him to the mainstream.
Fuck you, asshole.
Like me. Oh, that's Terminator Genesis. That was awful.
Yeah, I saw
I'm
that.
not obsolete. I'm old, not obsolete.
I've yet to see it.
And number one, the greatest movie of the 1980s. There is no comparison. It's not Back to the Future. It's not Die Hard. It's not Rocky 3. It's not Rocky 4. It's not Ferris Bueller's Day Off. It's not The Breakfast Club. It's not Blade Runner. It's not Raiders of the Lost Ark.
What is it?
It's not?
What is
It's not
it?
Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
Okay.
Can't be serious.
Trouble.
I think I say we sacrificing the Kaliman. What do you guys think?
I'm up for that. Yeah. Kalima demands.
Who's fucking harder?
It's Roadhouse.
What?
Oh.
I love Roadhouse. Is
Yeah, let's sacrifice the Kaliman, please.
the greatest 80s movie. This movie, in under 90 minutes, symbolizes the 80s. Symbolizes what the 80s is. It's cheesy. It's over the top.
Oh,
It's
God.
amazing. It has a great villain. It doesn't have a great script. Here is an example of a line that is said by Sam Elliott in the movie. Does the hobby horse have a wooden dick? Yeah. I mean, it's cheesy. It's cheesy. It's really, really cheesy. I'm saying it again. It's cheesy. But once you get past that, we will have a hell of a great time watching this movie. I don't know how many times I've watched this movie. I probably the first time I watched this movie, I watched it again the next day. Then I watched it again the next day. Then the next day I watched it again because I
How
loved
about
it.
shatter your knee and drop you
That's
stone?
like what I did with Deadpool.
How about I shatter your knee and drop you like a stone?
I mean, I'm Mr. Controversy.
Even more so than Jack. I mean, I think you two are both tied.
Yeah, but honestly, for me, the 80s, I mean, there were great movies in the 80s, but for me, the best 80s movies are the ones that are the most fun to watch. The Canon Group, in particular, go through all of the library of films, and except Superman 4 and He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. I mean, over the top with Sylvester Stallone is Sylvester Stallone doing arm wrestling. How amazing is that?
Depends on what he's arm wrestling.
Arm wrestling.
All right. Yes. Max, you've definitely stirred up some controversy on this.
All right, great job. Thank you.
All right. You're welcome. Thanks, Max.
Nice chatting with you, man.
Yep.
Never come back. I'm just kidding.
No. You're always welcome back. Just show your face next time. We want to see your passion for it, okay?
Yeah, but it's pretty dark in here. It's kind of dark. There's only one light. So, yeah.
Where's your face, Paul?
Yeah. So, yeah. Speaking of which, yeah.
I wasn't really talking them. I wasn't talking them much, so I'm like, I'm wide.
Yeah.
All right. I'm here. All right, now we go, Max. Okay. Wow. Is there any point in continuing now after that?
I think my brain melted.
I think we need to redeem this countdown.
Yes.
So, Chris,
I'm already
get on it. When you start redeeming this damn countdown. Number 7, go.
Okay, me.
Yes, go.
Yeah, number 7 is Die Hard. Yippee-ki-yay, bro. Of course, we talk Die Hard endlessly. This is a group we talk about movie. Uh-oh. Good one, Mike.
Now I have a machine gun. Ho, ho, ho.
How long did you have that with you, Mike? Like the entire conversation?
No, he brought it up when I mentioned Die Hard.
Yeah, I was writing it when you wrote up with Die Hard, and I figured, hey, you know what? What the hell? I'll just keep using it whenever someone makes it. Die Hard.
Woo! Die Hard is just fucking. It's just a thriller, man. It gives you nothing really to think about. You know, it's not a thought-provoking movie. It's just a roller coaster ride. It's just a damn entertaining movie. It's just
no fucking shit, lady. Does it sound like I'm ordering a pizza?
It's still one of the best lines ever from Die Hard.
I know, because he's so fucking irritated. He's trying to do his job, and
he's already killed one hostage. They're fortifying their position while you're jerking me off on the radio.
Otherwise, I have to report this as a felony. Fine, come the fuck down here and arrest me. Just get down here.
How about this great? You know, when he's trying to explode. Yeah, when he sets off that explosion, and the chief of police is giving him a hard time. He's like, I got 100 people down here covered with glass, and he's like, who gives a shit about glass? What the fuck is this? It's like, this is W Chief of Police Dwayne King Robinson. It was like,
I have news for you, Dwayne. From up here, it doesn't look like you're in charge of jack shit.
It's like,
I think the best thing about Die Hard is that usually in these kinds of action movies, the hero just goes about it on his own. But in Die Hard, John goes out of his way to try and get help, and the help keeps screwing him over.
I know. Especially has that line. It's just like you listen to me, you asshole. It's like asshole.
I'm the one who just got butt fucked on national TV, Dwayne.
It has the line you're saying about how he gets jerked off by some people who are asking, who he's asking for help. Hence that line. You listen, jerk off. He's saying to him, well, listen, jerk off. You're not part of the solution. You're part of the fucking problem. Put the other guy back on. It's like, but damn, he's like I said, it's a roller coaster. It's just like the action sequences are just fucking like dynamic and fantastic. The movie is just incredibly exciting. Of course, you got Bruce Willis in the role that made him famous. Of course, he's done like everyone knows with the series Moonlighting. Yeah, that was what he did.
Yeah, it kind of went down after Die Hard 2.
Right. Yeah, but Moonlighting, he's kind of like a respectable TV name, but this is the one that really jazzes him to popularity. It's just like, like I said, John McCain's not a muscle-bound, it is not a muscle-bound individual. He is pretty much, an ordinary guy, but he's in an extraordinary circumstance. But it's like, it is actually filled with genuine tension, because like the lines are just impeccably well done. Of course, that iconic one-liner, motherfucker.
Yeah. The calls. We'll get together, have a few laughs.
But yeah, there's like Die Hard, man. This is like you'd be a fool not to like this movie. It's just like, of course, you got Alan Rickman. That's one of the most feared and most cunning of movie villains ever, Hans Gruber. It's like, scared the cowboy, aren't you? It's just like, Mr. McClane, all movie things don't end like, well, this time John Wayne gets to walk out with Grace Kelly. It's Gary Cooper asshole. It's like and jokes. It's like what was that line just said? Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. He was so damn formidable. He's like, and then he just takes his shot, and he's like, "Happy trails, Hans." And he's like, oh my God. It's like I said, it's got great supporting characters. You know, it's like I said, an overwhelming sense of excitement. You know, like I said, and even the depressing thing about one of the most depressing thing about it is like Roger Ebert didn't even like this movie. It's like, how could you not see the appeal of Die Hard? It's like it's a fucking classic. I mean, what's there to say? I mean, I'm pretty sure there's much more to say, but you can't dispute, you know, the appeal of this movie.
Absolutely. All right, Colton, you're up. Give me number 7 on your list.
Number 7 on my list was originally going to be Raiders of the Lost Ark, but given how I've talked about that movie at length in several episodes beforehand, I decided to actually make it Last Crusade. Yeah, no typical Doom, definitely not that. But yeah, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, it's a very good, before Crystal Skull came around, it was a very good, send-off for the Indiana Jones character and what have you. And I loved how this movie was about him and his dad, Indiana Jones is probably the last person you ever expect to have daddy issues, but it strangely worked because it had Sean Connery, a.k.a. James Bond, in the role of Henry Jones Sr., among other things. And, Sean Connery, he actually had some very good comedic timing, He's like, this is James Bond, the most suave person alive, being the comedic foil to Indiana Jones, but damn, it works very well. And one of my favorite scenes one of my favorite comedic scenes has to be when Indy and his dad are on that blimp, and he punches that Nazi out, throws him off, he's like, no ticket, and all those people quickly grab their tickets and show them. Ticket. I also think it has maybe the most satisfying, has probably the best climax of all the Indiana Jones films when Henry Jones Sr. gets shot, and Indy then has to face the trials of the Holy Grail in order to retrieve it to save his dad. It's probably some of the best suspense probably the best film suspense in the entire movie, with him trying to figure out what he needs to do. Sometimes at the last second it happens, while also getting in some comedy in there also, like Jehovah starts with an I, and he's like, Jay, wah! Okay, he didn't scream like that, but you know what I mean. And then he's like, he chose poorly.
Yeah, he did that so dryly, like he's seen it happen before. Yeah, I'm not surprised by that anymore.
Probably countless centuries of seeing people picking the wrong grail, and he's thinking, these people realize how Jesus Christ worked. Okay, he was a humble man.
He was a poor guy. Okay.
What'd you say, Paul?
No, yeah, he was. There's this conception like he was the son of God. The son of the ultimate king of the universe. Like he was so rich, and I was like, guys, you do remember that his human father was Joseph. He's the son of a carpenter. Okay, that's how Jesus worked. He was a carpenter. Carpenters didn't make a lot of money back then, so he would have had a very simple grail.
Indeed. But yeah, that was a great moment. And seeing Indy and his dad and those other guys riding off into the sunset was a good, at the time, final moment for the series.
It still is. Like, I'm sorry. I know I have Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. I know I have Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, but I don't count it as an Indiana Jones movie.
It's like
it's just
I still love the ending for Crystal Skull because like I've said in previous episodes, Marion and Indy got married. That made the whole bloody affair worth it. Though I am curious to see what they'll do with Indy 5. Like there is a chance for them to once again end the series on a high note, I guess you could say. Only time will tell.
I doubt Disney would do that. It's fucking Disney.
Can this film possibly redeem the series after? Well,
they redeemed it after Temple of Doom.
The Crystal Skull, and he used the fucking fridge for Christ's sake. Oh my God.
Well, they redeemed the series after Temple of Doom came out, so anything's possible.
Yeah, but Temple of Doom wasn't really that bad.
I mean, who gets satisfaction?
It was memorable.
I mean, who gets satisfaction out of Shia LaBeouf swinging across the trees like Tarzan?
Yeah, that was weird. But anyway, going back to Last Crusade, I also liked how Indy and his dad actually have an argument over the fact that they both slept with Elsa, and his dad and Indy's dad's like, I'm as human as the next man, and he's like, I was the next man. And of course, let's not forget the best moment of the entire film. I liked Indiana. We named the dog Indiana.
You are named after the dog?
And
Got a lot of fond memories of that dog.
and of course, I loved how the movie opened as well. It was like Raiders of the Lost Ark, where it was like a mini movie before the main movie, where we see young Indiana Jones going on trying to get the crucifix back, and while also getting his most iconic traits at the same time, like his fear of snakes, the scar, the whip, all that good stuff. And then he's like, "We lost today, kid. That doesn't mean you have to like it." Then Indy gets his iconic fedora, and the rest, as they say, is history. So
Pretty
number
much.
7, Last Crusade.
Indeed. Nice pick, Colton. Nice pick. Mike, you're up. Give me number 7 on your list.
Okay, my number 7 is Goonies Never Say Die.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, this is a classic movie. It's so much fun. A lot of people think Steven Spielberg directed this one. Not he wrote it.
He produced it, too.
And he produced it, but it was directed by Richard Donner, who is no slouch either.
Nope.
I mean, yeah, this movie is quintessentially 80s. It's a bunch of kids just going on this quest to find hidden pirate gold. I mean, just when you just say it like that, it sounds ridiculous and stupid, but damn if they don't make it work in the most charming fashion ever. It's amazing how many people got their start in this movie. And you got Sean Astin, you got
Josh Brolin.
Yeah, Josh Brolin.
Corey Feldman.
There you go.
Ke Kwan, although he was in Temple of Doom, but.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think was this one first or was I think this one was first.
What?
I think Goonies was first, and then he did Temple of Doom.
No. Temple of Doom came out in 83, 84. Goonies came out in 85.
I'll go with you for that one. They were both really fun movies anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, Chunk is just so much fun. His whole story about doing the fake throw up in the theater, I could watch that scene over and over, and I would laugh every single time. So yeah, Goonies, number 7.
All right. Thank you, Mike. Thank you. All right, so.
Thank you, Mr. McConaughey.
Huh?
Thank you, Mr. McConaughey. All right.
I always wondered, like, where have I didn't even know Matthew McConaughey said that. I'm like, I've just been doing that a lot, and I never.
Wow, I thought you were doing that because of Matthew McConaughey.
No.
That's what I love about high school kids, high school girls. I keep getting older; they stay the same age.
I don't think I've ever seen a Matthew McConaughey movie.
Really?
I can't think of one.
Maybe an Interstellar?
No, didn't see that.
Have you ever seen A Time to Kill?
Nope.
Have you seen? Well, I can't think of any others. What did you say, Chris?
Dallas Buyers Club.
The Wolf of Wall Street.
Dazed and Confused.
Nope.
Angels in the Outfield.
Nope.
Where have you been, man?
Let me see. A Time to Kill.
No.
Contact.
Nope.
U-571. Rain
Nope.
of Fire.
Nope.
How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
Nope.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation.
I don't like horror movies, so no.
Well, that's a
Magic
stupid
Mike.
movie anyway.
Come on, you've
No.
seen Magic Mike. We know you've seen Magic Mike.
No, I haven't.
I was like, Paul, have you seen Magic Mike?
No, I have not.
Okay, I'm just kidding.
The only way I would ever see Magic Mike is the same way that would be if like a hot girl promised to fuck me if I watched it with her. I'm like, okay, I'm signing you up. I'm watching Magic Mike. Same thing with 50 Shades of Grey. I would watch it if that under those circumstances.
Yeah, tell that to Caleb. Oh my God.
Hey, you know what? He did it. I mean, it worked. So I mean, okay.
What do you
Well,
mean?
you got the whip out on him. God damn it.
Why Caleb watched 50 Shades because Gretchen told him to, or
Pretty much.
damn?
That's what it was.
Though. She had the whip.
Yeah.
He had no choice. Oh my
You had no choice. No. All right. All right, let's keep it going. So number 7 on my list. Colton already brought it up. Who Framed Roger Rabbit? I mean, just a legendary movie of the 80s. It's so incredible. You know, Bob Hoskins, God rest his soul, absolutely stellar. Roger himself is just iconic. Christopher Lloyd, an amazing villain. You know, I know you brought up Jessica Rabbit is the hottest woman ever drawn. It's a shame her body could never actually exist in real life because she'd never be able to walk, but like we fucking care. I can't even begin to imagine how many 10-year-old boys got their first boner when they saw her. Like, I would imagine, like, yeah, that's the first girl that a lot of guys would ever have a crush on, like when they were kids.
And she's a cartoon character.
Hey, you know what? Animated women played a large part in our childhood, okay? Animated women are what turned real girls from cootie-infested creatures to undeniable sex goddesses, okay? Men would not love real women if it wasn't for animated women, okay?
I dispute that.
You think of all the animated women that we've had growing up. There was Sailor Moon. There was April O'Neil. I mean, all many great animated women. Daphne from Scooby-Doo.
Yes, they had huge racks. I mean, I won't say anymore. Retract that, please.
No, go ahead, say it. Nice rack, nice ass, all of it. She had it.
Yeah. Is it my imagination or comic book women are better drawn, in terms of their, physical appearance?
Well, I mean, they have to. I mean, I don't know if you've heard this story. I remember reading this story, which I thought was hilarious. The original creator for Power Girl, he wanted to make sure that they were noticed by DC. So with each different incarnation, he kept making her boobs bigger and bigger until the creators finally noticed it. Like, okay, those are huge, and they stopped it. So that's why she's got such a large rack.
Oh, by the way, guys, that's Hollywood.
Oh, you know what? I've heard of that movie.
Yeah.
Is that the one with like Brad Pitt?
Jessica Rabbit wins.
Played by Kim Basinger.
Are you talking about Cool World?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I haven't thought about that movie in ages. Oh man.
I mean, look, if Jessica Rabbit's so hot that even the animators had to see her naked, then she's got to be. Then they did something right. So, I mean, yeah, Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Absolutely stellar movie. All right, let's keep it going. Number 6, Chris, go.
All right, number 6 is A View to a Kill. I was just kidding. All right.
That one is fine. I don't have a problem with that movie. It's a good movie, actually.
I was just kidding about that. I mean, number 7, my 6 is a tie. They're both works of James Cameron.
Okay.
It's the sequel to Aliens. I mean, Aliens. Like I said, Aliens is like one of the most awesome movies ever. It's just the amount of craft that James Cameron put, from screenplay to casting. It's spectacular. It's just like, like I said, it's hard for me to choose which is the better movie at times. Is it Alien or Aliens? Because both movies have their their virtues. They have individual strengths. Alien thrived on our pounding our pulses. Because the whole damn thing was so claustrophobic and so unsettling in terms of its atmosphere. I would argue that Aliens does that times 10, and yet gives you a hell of a thrill ride all the same. I mean, Sigourney Weaver, her. I mean, just like you can't help but be infatuated and admired by her as a performance. I would say her performance as Ripley was a little weak in the first movie. She was good, no doubt about it. But she kicks, as what Mike says, she kicks fucking ass. In this one,
in the first movie, she really didn't realize that she was the main character until about halfway through the movie after Dallas gets killed off.
The characters were killed off in reverse order of their star power, from what I've heard, with Sigourney being the most unknown of the group. So I can understand her acting not being quite up to par, but I think it was still great, at least compared to Aliens, but it's still great in Alien.
Oh yeah. I mean, definitely. But yeah, with Ripley in this, she's just like, especially when that moment when she takes Sergeant, she rescues Hicks and all the others from the old nest of the old alien nest and all that. It's just like you can tell like she ain't selling for shit. Especially what's the guy with the character's name? Shit. the William Hope character. Shoot, what was the character's name?
Oh,
Gorman. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, the Gorman. Yeah, he doesn't really react well to unexpected situations. Yeah, so she basically had to, take names, and kick some ass. Most definitely. It's just like, this is a huge example of filmmaking craft. I mean, it's not a horror film in the way the original Alien was. I would say, yeah, it is a good percentage of horror, but it is more of an action film. It's a combat movie. It's a war movie. Yeah, there's certain parallels to the Vietnam War, so forth and so on. And I think it's one of the most overlooked aspects, if you ask me. Yeah, the film seems kind of quaint by today's standards, but from the design and everything like that, it's really beautifully made. Definitely. Of course, you got the great supporting characters. You got Michael Biehn as Hex. You got Lance Henriksen as a bishop, who's probably one of the descendants of the robot from Metropolis. I would say that. Of course, you got who doesn't love good old wisecracking Private Hudson, played by Bill Paxton. Game over, man. Game over.
Hey, Chris, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't there a Star Trek alum in that movie? Didn't Marina Sirtis appear in this movie?
Say that again.
If I recall, did Marina Sirtis appear in that movie?
No, she didn't. She wasn't in the movie. But however, Jeanette Goldstein, who plays Private Vasquez, was in a Star Trek movie. You can say there's a Star Trek alum in this movie.
I swear to God, I remember hearing somewhere that Marina Sirtis appeared in an Aliens movie.
I'm not sure. I mean, that I would dispute that. I wouldn't find that source credible. I mean, by no means, but but the Aliens is full of such fantastic moments. I mean, one of the rare moments where a sequel actually betters the original. I mean, it just you can help, but it's just immensely watchable. It's just like and it just I can't. It's just like. Well, I mean, it's just incredible. And I was going to say the second, James Cameron movie that is tied for sixth place is The Terminator. I'll be back. Of course, Arnold Schwarzenegger in his most memorable movie role. I'm going to see it I'm probably going to. I mean, hopefully by next Friday I will see it in the theater, because the theater in the town I'm in is going to show it. It's apparently going to be a late night showing. But yeah. Terminator, man. It's just basically a B movie with A movie production values, just basically to say the least. It's just like, I mean, it's a comic book come to life, because we all will feel familiar with the premise. Arnold Schwarzenegger plays this machine who's sent back to kill this woman who's going to be the mother of the leader of the resistance against machines in the future. And yeah, the premise is very well known. Of course, it's just like I said, another example of James Cameron's impeccable craft. I mean, I'm not as fan. I'm a fan of James Cameron. Probably not as a fan of him as I used to be, but you can say with movies like Terminator and Aliens, he is at the top of his form. It shows why he is the best. Most definitely. I mean, it is probably one of the most original movies to come out of that decade. It's just, I mean, it's like I was saying with Terminator, like I was saying with Alien and Aliens, both Terminator and Terminator 2. I can't decide which is better, because they both have such great individual strengths. I mean, this one is more of a horror movie in the sense, in terms of its pacing and its atmosphere, but there's just so many things, so many great things about this, so many things about this film, like from the concept, and it does have some genuine inventiveness. I just can't say enough about this movie. It's just, cinematic. It's part of movie legend.
All right. Thank you, Chris. All right, Colton, you're up. Give me number 6 on your list.
Originally, this was going to be Ferris Bueller, but I had decided to go with another teen film from the 80s that could only happen in the 1980s, and that movie is Risky Business.
Oh god.
You seem weirded out, Chris. Yeah, risky business. I mean, if you walked up to somebody and told them that Tom Cruise played a goody two shoes in a 1980s film, they'd probably laugh you out of town. I mean, Tom Cruise as a goody two shoes is just hilarious in hindsight. But he kind of actually fit with it in this movie. He has that good-looking all-American boy face and what have you. It does look like the kind of person that wouldn't really go breaking the rules, which is why he winds up actually doing a pretty good job at it in this movie. Well, first he starts off kind of sucking at it, but then he winds up running a brothel in his own home. I mean, how 1980s can you possibly get? Can you imagine a film like that? Can you imagine any film trying to pull that off today? So yeah. It definitely wouldn't work, and it just shows how how crazy people can get with the kind of things they'd want, Sorry, it just shows how crazy people can get with what they can try and get away with in film at the time and what have you, and it shows that the sky is not sometimes there are no limits, So I think my favorite thing about that movie is probably the fact that after all is said and done, after he's run the brothel, after he almost got killed by a killer pimp, after having everything stolen from his house, he still gets in trouble because his mother just happened to notice a minuscule minor crack in that priceless egg of hers and what have you. And Tom was probably thinking, it's probably better. That's probably a minor thing. And Tom was like, damn, she actually noticed that. And then I think my favorite line actually might be when the guy from Princeton shows up and he thinks he's blown his chance. He's like, looks like University of Illinois. So yeah, Risky Business. It's a great 80s film. Only could happen in the 80s, and just it's a good time, yeah.
All right, thanks, Golden. Mike, you're up. Give me number 6 on your list. I'm sorry.
All right, number 6 on my list is. It may not be my favorite Spielberg movie of all time, but it is certainly in contention. E.T., the Extraterrestrial.
Oh, just missed my list. That is such a magical movie.
I cannot watch this movie without really just getting it right in the feel. Like every time when E.T. is dead, wow! I get watery eyes every single time. It never fails. Especially when they see the flower coming back to life, that, oh man, chills every single time. This movie is just so special on so many different levels. I mean, Jaws may have been like the first movie where it's like, hey, Spielberg really knows how to make a great movie. This shows that he knows how to make a very special movie, a movie that will touch whoever watches it, and really, I mean, it just emotionally connects with everybody. I mean, everybody on some certain level can, I believe, emotionally connect with this movie. It is just so special. It is so well done. It's an amazing movie. It is my number 6 movie.
All right, nice pick, Mike. Nice pick. Very good.
Good choice, Matt.
All right, so number 6 on my list. You're not going to be surprised that it's on there. What you might be surprised is that it is so low, and that is 1989's Batman.
Really?
Number 6 on my list. Yeah. I
I'm going to tell you for that.
Well, let's hear it, Paul. Why so low?
Well, you'll find out when I list my other movies, but I mean, Batman 89, I mean, what can you say about it? I mean, that is, I know Chris is going to hate me for saying this because I've said it before, but it is the best live-action Batman movie of all time. It feels like, as much as I love The Dark Knight, there was, 89, that feels like a comic book movie. Like, Dark Knight is crazy, it didn't feel like a comic book movie. 89 Batman, that's a comic book movie. It's grounded, it's gritty, it's realistic, but there's this element of, like, fantasy and over-the-top silliness that a good comic book movie should have. And that resides in Jack Nicholson's Joker. I mean, he was just over-the-top, insane, and he was just brilliant. I love it. And, of course, Michael Keaton, the best Batman of them all, as far as live action. Keaton's the best. It's just so wonderful. It's so well written. The action sequences are fantastic. There's also good comedy in there. There's there's some like really silly over the top moment, like who remembers that parade with Prince singing? Like that was just awesome. But that's a comic book moment that you just can't find in the Dark Knight trilogy. But it's moments like that make a comic book movie great, and that's why Batman '89 is the best of them all, because it's, like I said, it's dark, it's gritty, it's really, but it's still a comic book movie. There's an element of silliness to it that you just love, and it alleviates the tension of the movie. But aside from that, it's so freaking well done. I love everything about this movie. So yeah, Batman '89. I love it.
Gentlemen, let's broaden our minds.
Stop. This one I like.
Yes, the $1 bill.
My face on the $1 bill.
Let's broaden our minds. Lawrence?
Okay, Colton. Don't do the running man, please.
No, you need to say something, Colton. We need to see you.
Never mind, the moment's passed. Moments. I'm just gonna stand in the corner for a moment over the air conditioning.
Overdo the funky chicken. Come on.
All right, moving on. Number 5 now. Chris, go.
Okay, number 5 on my list is Back to the Future. Okay, listen, yeah. I mean, come on. I mean, yeah. I know you guys had to leave out Empire on the list because that would be too obvious in Return of the Jedi. I mean, Return of the Jedi, it's like much as I like it, it wouldn't really make that list. You know, but yeah, you can't leave. But yeah, come on. How can you guys leave the other Star Wars movies out of this list? But I'm going to leave Back to the Future out of the list because it's so damn fantastic. You know, it's like another. I mean, like, yeah. I mean, Romancing the Stone, it may have, gotten Robert Zemeckis some footing. I don't believe I've seen that film all the way, really. But then, yeah, Back to the Future, I mean, when Zemeckis, he may have not been up to, he's not really quite on the level as Steven Spielberg, but with this film, it proves he's pretty damn good. And it's executive produced by Steven Spielberg, The premise itself is a wildly imaginative and funny and imaginative and inventive one. You're like this 80s kid, who's friends with this very eccentric, very, eccentric, very wide-eyed scientist. Some would call him a crackpot. Okay, I won't go for it. I won't elaborate further. Yeah, say he has he built this time machine and he's accidentally sent back, 30 years back, and he accidentally causes this, some things to happen, which will ultimately result in his existence being at stake. What could have, this premise could have fallen into lesser hands, but with Robert Zemeckis and Bob Gale, they instantly grip you. And this is a movie that was 11 weeks at the box office. It spent 11 weeks at number 1 because it's such a fun movie. Of course you got wonderful moments. You got great cast. Michael J. Fox, Christopher Lloyd, Leah Thompson, Thomas F. Wilson, Crispin Glover. Of course you got some really insane and really silly and very funny moments. Of course you got I've never seen purple underwear before, Calvin. He said, why do you keep calling me Calvin? It says so in your underwear. A bunch of people call you Cal. It's like, Stella, I know when these damn kids jump in front of my car. It's like, why don't you play why don't you make of course, you got the very, very menacing yet, very, this is a not too bright villain Biff. He said, why don't you make like a tree and get out of here? It's just like, Lord. Of course, you got that. Of course, you got the other moment where Barney's being chased by, Biff and his gang, and he once we think they had him, he manages to quickly get out of danger at that moment. Of course, they get into a manure truck and they all say, "Shoo!" Yes, and yeah, and you know, I wonder how many. I wonder how many sleepless nights they've had, you know, about their manure truck. Yeah, so this is yeah. You have to go to some psychiatrist about that. It's like, yeah, but all in all, it's got some wonderful dialogue, and it's become a pop culture mainstay. Of course, you know, even Ronald Reagan quoted one of the lines on occasion. You know, I mean, that's how ingrained, you know, and beloved this movie is, because you know it's just, you know, it has so many, it has just so many wonderful things about it. It has such a broad appeal, and it's just, you know, it's just a wonderful movie. I mean, it's just, you can't help but just watch it again and again.
All right, very good, Chris. All right, Colton, you're up next. Give me number 5 on your list.
Number 5 on my list is A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3, Dream Warriors. So, the Nightmare franchise has had an interesting history of good and bad films, but I think this might be one of the best in the series. I think like the first one is great, but it's a little, something about it is just kind of off at times, like with the dreamlike nature of the story. But this movie is a bit more straightforward, and I think that allowed us to get a bit more emotionally invested in the people that were getting killed. You know, they were kids that were locked up in a mental institution because they were assumed to be crazy because they kept talking about Freddy and being their dreams and all that jazz, which was actually made for a very scary environment, you know, because no one would help them, so they could only just wait helplessly as Freddy started coming after them and what have you. They killed them in some pretty inventive ways. Like this one guy, he cut into his veins and they controlled him like a puppet and then threw him off a building. That was pretty damn disturbing, among other things. And let's see here. We also had the cast was also pretty good. We had let's see here. Can't remember her name. Oh, that's Ethel Langenkamp returns as Nancy Thompson after being absent from A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, and she does a good job playing a more mature character in the time gap between these two films. And we also have Patricia Arquette as Kristen Parker, and she made for a good secondary leading. Well, then again, I guess she was she and Nancy were co-leads, I guess you could say. They made for a good pair of characters, and Freddy was played by, as usual, to perfection by Robert Englund. This is probably the last time where Freddy was legitimately scary until Wes Craven's New Nightmare, as Freddy became increasingly more comical after this film, and for the worst. But yeah, I really liked him in this movie, and I liked how they concluded things with this film. It was pretty depressing, pretty sad actually, among other things, in addition to being pretty tense, and probably one of the best Freddy defeats in the series. So number 5 on my list, Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3.
All right, thank you, Colton. All right, Mike, you're up next. Give me number 5 on your list.
All right, so number 5 is and this is my tie because I couldn't decide whether or not I preferred Raiders of the Lost Ark or Last Crusade more. So yeah, I'm choosing them both for my number 5. Yeah, Raiders of the Lost Ark, and we got Last Crusade.
I got that box set too.
Oh yeah. How can you not have this box set if you're an Indiana Jones fan? Yeah, I mean both those movies, like you guys have talked, like Colton's talked about with Last Crusade, they're both just genius movies. These are also on my list for favorite Spielberg movies. I mean, Indiana Jones is just a classic hero. I mean, it's, you know, he's born out of the kind of 30s pulp movies.
Yeah.
But he's got that edge, the wonderful, fun, that Harrison Ford brings to it. Just that kind of like that wise ass kind of humor to him.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, number one is just a straight up awesome action movie, and number three has got that extra comedic humor of introducing Sean Connery as his father. I mean, between the two, I kind of prefer The Last Crusade a little bit more, but I'd be hard pressed to say that neither one of them is a bad movie. I mean, they're both. I mean, it basically you got Raiders of the Lost Ark here, right here, and here's Last Crusade. All right, it's not that far off.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, those two are my number 5.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thank you very much, Mike. Good pick. All right. So number 5 on my list, I remember the Nostalgia Critic putting the following two themes, putting Indiana Jones' theme on, like when he did his top 11 fuck yeah movie soundtracks. I remember he put these two as a tie because he said they sounded very similar. I disagree. I think the Indiana Jones theme and this theme are very different, but they're both excitingly awesome. Take a guess if you can figure out what this movie would be.
Da, 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 da.
Still waiting.
You guys hear it?
Superman.
Yep.
So I'm assuming you're going to Superman 2 then.
Damn right!
Unless
Number 5 is Superman 2, the Richard Donner cut.
Unless you're talking about Superman 3, of course.
No.
Please. I could have brought up Superman 1, but he's Superman 2.
Well,
Superman
Superman
2.
1 came out in 1978, so you couldn't bring it up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's true. But yeah, I mean, Superman 2. Unbelievable friggin' movie. Like, my favorite Superman movie of them all. That one just has it. It is so good. So well acted. What'd you say?
I said kneel before Zod.
Okay, you got me scared for a minute. I thought I had to remove you again.
No, Chris, you said it wrong. It's kneel before Zod.
Come to me, Sandra. Kneel before Zod.
Hero, would you care to step outside?
Yeah, the unbelievable friggin' movie with incredible acting. You know, the theme song, classic theme as always. It's such a wonderful movie full of all the heart and humor that you'd expect from the Chris Reeve film, but the action is amazing. And, you know, the funny thing is about this movie, like, I don't get why there was so much controversy about Henry Cavill killing General Zod in Man of Steel when Superman killed Zod in Superman 2, but no one complained about it. Like, he killed him.
Probably because Superman 2 was such a good movie that people weren't in a complaining mood, but with Man of Steel being so divisive, well, yeah.
Yeah, it might have had something to do with it.
Because in Man of Steel, he never used the Saran Wrap S. That's why. Come on.
All I think about, you know, with that self-thing S is, you know, now is how Family Guy just, you know, just rips in that whole thing. It's just like, yeah, it's like, that's my inconvenience. Yeah, take that, you jerk.
I'll take your word for that. But I mean, yeah, Superman 2, unbelievable friggin' movie, and the number 5 movie on my list. All right, let's keep it rolling. I know it's getting late, so you know we don't have much more to do. Chris, give me number 4 on your list.
Okay, my number 4 is Ridley Scott's 1982 Blade Runner. You know, Blade Runner is, like I said, Blade Runner is a pretty incredible movie. You know, incredible movie. I think it's Ridley Scott's 3rd film. You know, the premise, you know, of course, surrounds the wonderful, iconic Harrison Ford. I mean, what can you say about Harrison Ford? You know, but you know, as this, you know, this police officer who's basically his job is to hunt down these, you know, these genetically created artificial beings, you know, replicants, because they escaped from an off-world colony, you know, and his job to basically retire them, you know. I know Blade Runner is not, you know, a film to everyone's liking. I mean, you have to have a certain degree of tolerance and patience when it comes to viewing a movie like this. I mean, it's not a popcorn movie. It's really kind of it's really philosophical from a metaphysical point of view and from an existential point of view. You know, but you know, but you know, I mean, but you know, the characters, you know, themselves, they may not have so much of an appeal to them, but they're utterly fascinating. Well, and like what's there to say about the production design of this movie? The production design is just is wonderful. It's genius. It kind of reminds me of Metropolis a bit. You know, just in terms of the special effects, the legendary Douglas Trumbull did the special effects. You know, this is, I mean, and it just everything. I mean, I would say, people would say Blade Runner focuses, I mean, it's really more style over substance. But if you really peel back, it's a very compelling movie. Amid all the, the style of it, the look of the city, the special effects, and so on. I mean, it's a movie that really requires a lot out of you. It is definitely something. It is definitely a movie that is, a truly great one, nonetheless. Overrated. Don't you say that. Caddyshack's overrated.
No, Caddyshack's funny. This movie's overrated.
No.
Yes.
Rodney Dangerfield's
boring.
No.
Boring.
No. Roger Dangerfield is a pain.
Yeah, last time I saw a hat like that, I bet so a corpse in it.
What? No. David Ortiz is a bitch. Okay, let me stop.
I'm not putting up with that. I'm not putting up with that. You don't mock my Red Sox. You don't mock my Poppy. No one makes fun of my Poppy and gets away with it. That's my boy right there. That's my brother right there. That's my man. No one mocks Ortiz. Don't be mocking David Ortiz.
I kept it to the movies. He crossed the line.
Yeah. No one mocks David Ortiz and gets away with it. That's my man.
Okay. Okay. All right. I was just joking. I mean, actually, I haven't really seen Caddyshack. No. I've never seen Caddyshack. No.
All right. Colton. Go for it. Give me number 4.
This is a very unconventional movie, one that none of us would probably think of, and I don't know if any of you have seen it. But it is the 1980 recipient of the Academy Award for Best Picture, and that is Ordinary People. It's an oldie. Okay, they're all oldies, but
wow, good one.
Robert yeah, I have yet to see that movie. I know Robert Redford.
Directed by Robert Redford, starring Donald Sutherland, Mary Tyler Moore, Timothy Hutton. Have you seen it, Mike?
Oh yeah, I love that movie. Robert Redford won his first directing Academy Award for that one, and Timothy Hutton was nominated for Best Supporting Actor.
And Mary Tyler Moore was nominated for Best Actress, but she didn't win somehow. Those little crooks.
That is a powerful movie.
All these movies we've been listening from the 1980s have been very silly, over-the-top sort of films that were like, this could only happen in the 80s. But then this movie comes along, and it was actually at the start. It came out in 1980 itself, not late in the 80s. But what I love about this movie is that it's about a family trying to cope with the loss of their son, and they do a tasteful job dealing with their depression and all that jazz. Like, it doesn't feel like they're trying to be dark and depressing for the sake of it. They do a good job actually, treating this delicate situation. This case being the loss of the main character's older brother, and scene where he breaks down, goes rushing to the doctor to try and get him to talk to him and everything like that. And ordinarily, you would probably think the psychiatrist would be kind of upset that the guy is inconvenient, coming to him at a very inconvenient time, but he actually sits down and talks to them, lets him get out all of his issues. And Mary Tyler Moore, oh my gosh, was she unrecognizable in this movie. I mean, we all know her for being the very perky and jovial character from the Mary Tyler Moore Show, but in this movie, she is pretty much the opposite, and she does a great job at it. And she does a good job that you don't even think that, hey, this is Mary Tyler Moore acting out of character. It was a good performance,
I think the phrase you're looking for is ice cold bitch.
Yep, that's pretty much sums it up.
And I was slightly wrong. Timothy Hutton actually won the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor. Judd Hirsch was nominated and didn't win.
The sad thing about it is that despite her moments of ice cold bitchiness, there was actually a moment in the movie where it looked like they were actually making a breakthrough with her, only it didn't work out in the end, and it was a very soul-tearing or heart-wrenching scene. You know, this movie it's heavy, as Marty McFly would say.
Dude, the scenes with Judd Hirsch and Timothy Olyphant are some of the best scenes you ever see in any movie. They're incredible.
All right. Thanks, Colton, for that. All right. Mike, you're up next. Give me number 4 on your list.
All right, my number 4 is quite possibly one of the funniest movies ever made. And I'm not going with Caddyshack. That one I actually had to put off. I couldn't quite make it on my list. But this one's even funnier.
Of course.
Airplane!
Surely you're serious.
I am serious, and don't call me Shirley. I mean, that movie, if you've never seen Airplane, you are doing yourself a gross disservice. It is easily one of the funniest movies ever created.
All right, I got to get on it then.
From the very first scene, I mean, dude, the very first scene, I'm not going to spoil it. Well, yeah, I'm going to spoil it.
I haven't seen it yet, so please don't.
Well, no, just the very first scene. You hear the Jaws theme. You see like a cloud bank, and then you see a plane wing go through, just like a shark dorsal fin. And it's brilliant. I mean, that's just the very first scene in this movie. The whole movie is just full with non sequitur jokes, hilarious sight gags, just straight out and out jokes.
Hey, knock yourself a pros. Knock yourself a pros. Look, that great man. Before much down, I take CB in, man.
You get to hear Barbara Billingsley, the mom from Leave It to Beaver, speak jive. I mean, there's so much good in this movie. It is utterly hilarious.
Some motherfucker better be lying to me to the bone. Checking me.
It's like I quit the wrong. It looks like I picked the wrong day to quit drinking. Look like I quit the wrong day to quit snorting glue. Oh, if you are not laughing when you're watching this movie, there's something seriously wrong with your funny bone.
All right.
Get on that, Paul.
Please.
All right, I'll get around to it at some point. Thanks, Mike. All right. So number 4 on my list, since I have not seen Airplane, number 4 on my list is the funniest movie I've ever seen to come out of this decade, and that is the classic Spaceballs. Holy shit, this movie's awesome. It is just over-the-top hilarious from start to finish, and it contains perhaps the single funniest scene I have ever seen in cinema history. Not just a decade, but in the entire history of cinema. Lone Star, the group, they're running out of the prison. They're trying to get into the Winnebago. It's locked. Lone Star says to the investment, hold them off. I'll take care of the door. I ain't shooting this thing. I hate guns. Big Ball shoots it. My hair. You shot my hair.
They're surrounded by assholes.
There's guns the entire line down. And Barb is looking like, holy shit. I cannot watch that scene without laughing. The first time I thought I laughed so hard I nearly died. I was like 5 years old. That is still the funniest scene I have ever seen. Nothing has topped it. Nothing.
One of my favorite lines from that one, it's weird. It's a weird line that's kind of cast off. It's near the end. And nobody else seems to find it as funny as I do, but come back here, you fat bearded bitch!
Hilarious.
We have to comb the desert.
Are we being too literal?
Speaking of that scene, Paul, I think one of my other favorite. I think another great moment from that scene is like when they're trying to get into the Winnebago at first, and they're they shoot the door, so it's jammed. They're like, what about the other door? It's locked. Where are the keys? Inside.
Right.
You've captured their stunt doubles.
This just shows you the genius of Mel Brooks as a writer. The guy is a comedic genius.
The funny thing is that apparently this movie, when it came out, it was regarded as like a redundant parody or whatever. Like he was doing it too soon or something, but it's like hilarious. I can't imagine how they...
Oh shit, Spaceballs. There goes the planet.
Ludicrous scene never fails to crack me up.
Surrounded by assholes. I was like, oh my God.
Keep firing, assholes!
It's It's like, what's the matter, Colonel Sanders? Here's like to go to the Luger Street. Sorry, that's never been done. It's like, what's the matter, Colonel
What's
Sanders?
Colonel Sanders? Chicken!
Yeah, I've seen a few people actually compare Dark Helmet to Kylo Ren, if you can believe it.
Okay, no, come on. You bent over my helmet?
Now you see why good will always triumph.
Because evil is. Oh yeah.
Now
Evil
you
will
see
always
that
triumph.
evil will always triumph. Because good is dumb.
And I'm sorry, but it's like, and when Dark Helmet tricks the princess to come out, like, fool you.
Oh, what about the doll scene? Like, yet, no, I hate you, leave me alone. Yet, I find you strangely attractive. Of course you do. Jewish princesses are often attracted to money and power. And I have both, and you know it.
That entire scene was improv. Like, they just handed the dolls to Rick Moranis and said, do something.
No, sir, I didn't see you playing with your dolls again.
Good! The combination is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the stupidest combination I've ever heard in my life! Something an idiot would have on his luggage!
I have the same thing on my luggage.
I think we all have to agree. For Paul, and now whenever we see Paul, we have to do the salute.
You shot my hair, you son of a bitch!
Oh my god. I honestly think I could quote this movie all day. It's just that quotable. The lines in this movie are amazing.
So you call this a radar screen? No, sir, we call this Mr.
Mr. Coffee. Care for some? Gonna be a short honeymoon. Hot! Too hot!
Let's not forget about that out of nowhere alien parody with the facehugger popping out and then doing the hello baby.
No. Not again.
That was John Hurt too. That was the actual guy from Alien.
Yeah, Kane.
Yeah. Oh no, not again.
Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey. Hello, my right time gal.
Oh gosh.
Check, please.
I think we honestly gotta do an entire show just about Spaceballs. I mean, we honestly could. It's just that good a movie.
Listen careful, you idiot.
Why not? It's a great movie.
I said across your nose. No, not it. Sorry, sir. I'm doing my best.
Who made that man a gunner?
You made that man a gunner.
Why,
sir?
My cousin. He's my cousin.
He's an asshole. He's
I'd
an
be
asshole.
all up for a Spaceballs episode, actually.
What?
I said I'd be all up for a Spaceballs episode, actually.
Expand that to all Mel Brooks, and we got a deal.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I haven't seen all of Mel Brooks' movies, and in case you haven't heard, my Chris is not a big fan of Blazing Saddles.
What?
Yeah, Chris does not like Blazing Saddles.
It's the most crude, most vulgar movie I've ever seen in my life.
That's the beauty of it.
He hit Buddy. Let's get him, girls.
Oh my god.
Well, head him off at the pass. Head them off at the pass. I hate that cliche.
Actually, I still haven't seen it yet. I need to get on it. All right, well, we can do it. We'd have to move on, unfortunately. So, Chris, I'm coming to you. We're getting to the good stuff now. Give me your number 3 movie on your list.
Number 3 on my list is E.T., the Extraterrestrial.
Magic.
Yes. One of the most wonderful, it's one of the most magical movies ever. And like how the Wizard of Oz, was shown around. If you remember, Wizard of Oz was shown around Christmas time, like every single year. This is a movie that should be shown every single year because it's that damn good. I mean, Jaws may have proven Steven Spielberg's directing prowess, but E.T. I mean, he was already mainstream, but with E.T. he jumped to a higher level, because E.T. has such a broad appeal. Because you got Henry Thomas as the very lonesome kid. He comes across this alien who's equally as lonesome, like I said, but they just connect. Even though E.T.'s a puppet, but he emotes and shows more real emotions than most characters done in computer-generated imagery today. I mean, that's the magic of what Carl Rambaldi brought to it. Even though it was a puppet, it just, when it's just like, you felt like it was real. It's just, I mean, that was the brilliance of it. You believed that this puppet, this 2 foot tall puppet was actually an alien. That's the one again. Yeah, it's just like there's so many magical moments. Of course, that iconic scene of E.T. and Elliot flying across the moon in a bicycle. That's like that's like our iconic part of movie imagery. I'm with Mike. It's just like, when E.T. dies, that's when the war. That's when. It gets you right here, absolutely. But I think I cry even more when E.T. leaves Elliot. He's departing Earth. It's like, I well up every time. It's just a huge
Excuse me.
And this was what it premiered at the Cannes Film Festival back in '82. Probably got a good response and rightly so. E.T. is just one of those movies that will remain ageless. And you got to straighten up Caleb, Paul. It's like him and Gretchen, because how can they not like this movie? I have no word. I'm at a loss for words. I'm still at a loss for words.
And M&Ms are still kicking themselves to this day.
Oh, I'm sure they are.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Because now Reese's is cranking all the money.
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh yeah, I think the sales for Reese's like tripled after this movie came out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, for Reese's Pieces, yeah.
Oh yeah. Like what? 65% of the Hershey got what? 65% of the profits because of the use of Reese's Pieces in this movie. Good deal.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, thank you, Chris. All right, Colton, you're up. Give me number 3 on your list.
Okay, number 3 on my list is it can be summed up in 6 words. Get away from her, you bitch. Aliens. When it comes to comparing Alien and Aliens, I think they are pretty much a package deal, to be honest. It's like they really complement each other well. And in Alien's case, it's like we go back to the colony, and in this case, instead of one alien, this time there's many. And they're not actually called xenomorphs, as I've been led to believe my entire life. That's an actual word, not something that the movie invented. It means foreign object or something like that. I don't remember, but yeah. The aliens in this movie, while they're not quite as smart as while the xenomorph was kind of smarter in the first movie, the aliens, while they have a tendency to kind of throw themselves at their enemies in this film, they still exhibit some pretty smart thinking, like getting past the barricade by going over that, but just simply going through the ceiling. And there's also this sequence where they keep throwing themselves at the sentry guns until they eventually run out of bullets, and you can feel the tension as our heroes start to run out of resources to keep the aliens at bay before they just break into the base, and it's an all-out war to keep them back. It's probably one of the best action scenes I've ever seen, among other things. And of course, like we already said, Sigourney Weaver just kicks all kinds of ass as Ripley. She was more or less just trying to survive in the first movie, but now she's, still trying to survive, but now she's not going to be a victim. She's had it with the aliens bullshit, and she's going to let them have it 10 times over. I mean, the scene where she and Newt confront the alien queen, and as we already discussed earlier, she destroys the alien nest. The way that scene is built up is like Ripley is holding the gun to that egg, and she's like, come at me, and I'm going to destroy this thing. And the queen's like, okay, everyone, back off. Then as she's leaving, one of the eggs opens up, and then Ripley just tilts her head as if to say, oh, you bitch. And then she annihilates the entire nest, even though the entire base is set to explode, so she doesn't even need to do that. She's just that angry at the aliens. And then, of course, I love the supporting cast. I think Newt might be one of the best tag-along kid characters in film. In fact, she might be one of the originators of that trope, I think. And what?
The affirmative.
Hey, that's so adorable. I actually love this one scene where they're looking over the schematics of the base, and Newt is trying to jump up so that she can see it, and Hicks, he notices and actually picks her up and places her on the table so that she can get a better view. That's just a pretty sweet moment, I can say, which makes the whole.
At night, mostly.
mostly, which makes their ultimate fate in Alien 3, well, stupid, among other things, but what are you
Screw
going to do?
David Fincher. I don't mean to say that, but yeah, it's like I hate what he did with those characters.
Well, from what I heard, that I mean, that wasn't. I don't think that was David Fincher's fault. I mean, the studio was like really working behind his back, among other things. So who knows whose fault it was? But
yeah, he got screwed on that movie big time.
But yeah, Aliens, it's a very good companion to the first film. I love what they did with the story. I love the new characters. In fact, the Marines might be some of the best iconic sequel characters ever. And you can tell that they made a lasting impact on the Alien franchise, as the Marines have a tendency to show up in a lot of other Alien media, usually the video games and all that jazz. And it's pretty badass. They're pretty badass, among other things. And I love Bill Paxton, how he's like acting so calm and confident when he shows up, and then he turns into a just like whimpering crybaby once things go way south.
Game over, man. Game over.
What? 7 days? We're having the last 7 hours. They're gonna break in here. They're gonna kill us. And then Ripley's like, this little girl survived even longer without any weapons or training. And Hudson's like, well, why don't you put her in charge?
I always really liked Vasquez. I thought she was really awesome.
Yeah, she
was.
She's
Vasquez,
man. She's cool though.
Yeah.
Vasquez plays John Connor's foster mother in Terminator 2. I did not realize.
Okay. You can't forget her. Yeah.
She and Drake, they were pretty badass Marines, and it was pretty sad when he dies. And she's like, "No, he can't be gone," but they had to leave him behind as his body is slowly being burned alive by the alien acid. I think they should have given him a mercy killing before they left. But yeah, Vasquez, the way she's like, let's rock, and then she just starts lighting up the entire base as the aliens come at them. And of course, let's not forget about the motion tracker, another iconic piece of another iconic film prop that this movie created, among other things. So Aliens is my number 3.
All right. Seems to be among all your lists, and I'm the only person who hasn't seen it. All right. I don't like horror movies.
I'm so sorry about the spoilers, then.
Don't worry about them. I was probably never going to see it. Like I said, I don't like horror movies.
Oh, you're doing yourself a great disservice if you don't see both of these movies. Alien.
It is definitely more of an action film.
Yeah, Aliens is more action than it is horror. But you're doing yourself a great disservice if you just see this movie. It's that good.
Like you said, James Cameron really knew how to. The James Cameron of old knew how to combine action, story, and horror. You know, I mean, that's one thing we want from our action films is to be able to.
He still does.
Do a good job merging those elements.
I mean, he still does, but I think he's gotten a little overconfident.
Well,
when you've made like 2 movies that have set the record for highest grossing movies of all time, I suppose that happens. That's inevitable.
Right. I guess.
All right, Mike, you're up. Give me number 3 on your list.
All right, my number 3 is kind of quasi-horror, but it's still really, really fun, and it really changed the way people look at Christmas. Gremlins.
Oh, okay.
No, not Die Hard.
Let's say Christmas Story myself.
Well, Christmas Story is on my honorable mentions list. No, but I love Gremlins. I mean, it's just it takes the whole trope of like a cute little family story, and it completely turns on its head, and it has monsters coming at you, and little monsters like maybe this big, but they're going around causing havoc, destroying the town, killing everybody. I mean, dude, what happened to Mrs. Deagle? You're not sure if you want to be horrified or cheer, because she is such a bitch. But I mean, the movie is just straight out fun. This was Joe Dante, I believe, was the director for that one. Mm-hmm. Again, Spielberg produced it. I'm fairly certain Spielberg produced every other movie from the 80s. So I don't know exactly how much he actually was involved with it, but it's so damn fun. I mean, when Gizmo kind of cry, he finally snaps and he starts going all. Oh wait, no, sorry, that was the second one. Second one's also fun, but it's also I don't think 80s, so can't put that one on my list. But yeah, I mean, I love that movie. That movie is probably third on my list of favorite Christmas movies.
Mm.
Yeah, third or second or third, somewhere around there.
All right, very good, Mike. All right, number 3 on my list, hands down, not only the best animated movie I've ever seen, but it's one of the best animated movies of all time, a movie I will defend to the hilt. You've already seen me mention this on another list, and that is The Secret of Nim. Oh my God, you guys, this movie is just unfriggin' believable. Just the animation is glorious.
Yeah, I'm not a big Don Bluth fan, but I would agree. This movie is severely underrated.
I thought you said you didn't like horror.
It's not a horror movie. I mean, granted, there
are some moments in this one that kind of make you question.
Oh yeah. I mean, I don't mind movies like that, like the Sixth Sense, Signs. I love those movies. Those are like pretty jump movies.
But they're horror.
No, they're not. They're more like thriller.
Signs is not a good movie.
But I mean, yeah, dude, Secret of Nim. I mean, incredible story writing. The animation's glorious. The voice casting is superb. Just everything about it. It is such a fantastic, wonderful movie that entertains.
Well,
like if that movie honestly should have gotten like an Academy Award. Like if the Academy had the balls to nominate an animated movie for Best Film of the Year for the Best Animated category was out during the time, I guarantee you Secret of Nim would have won it. It is just that fucking good. It is. I can't say enough about it. It's such an amazing, wonderful, entertaining, thought-provoking movie. And yeah, Secret of Nim, best animated movie, one of the best animated movies of all time. If you love animation, you owe it to yourself to see this movie.
Yeah, I think that's all here.
Okay. Now we're getting there. Okay, we're getting close. All right. Number 2, Chris. Number 2 movie on your list. Go.
Okay, number 2 on my list. Okay, I was number 2 on my list is. Mm-hmm.
Which one, though?
The one that started it all.
Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Raiders of the Lost Ark, baby. Doesn't get any better than that. I mean, we got a 5th one coming out, But, I mean, even though I believe at times that there could be something that could better this movie, and it's just, there is some part. There's nothing that can equal the charm, the excitement, the ferocity, the energy of what Steven Spielberg brought to this loving tribute to the pulp stories, the pulp fiction of the 30s and 40s, like Saturday morning serials and so forth and so on. It's just like, Raiders it's like, to me, it's like a comic book movie in terms of its visual style, and its composition in terms of cinematography, editing, and so forth and so on. It just, it doesn't pretend to be anything more than it is. It's Steven Spielberg's first non-serious movie. I mean, it's just a fun comic book. I mean, it's just but there's something beneath the surface of it being a comic book, being just a bare knuckles action movie. Of course, Harrison Ford. Who doesn't love Harrison Ford? Who doesn't like Harrison Ford as probably one of his most iconic movie roles? The daredevil archaeologist Indiana Jones. Trying to search for a legendary artifact, the Artifact of the Covenant. He has to battle the dastardly Nazis for possession of the artifact. I would say the movie is wonderfully cartoonish. I don't know. I mean, I don't mean that in a bad sense. Because it really works to its advantage. In terms of its execution style. It's just like some of the action sequences are just it's just incredibly sweeping, I mean, it has some great humor here and there, especially, with, especially, when Indy's trying to get out, trying to get the idol, you know, and he's trying to break like hell to get out of the, and trying to get out of the, trying to get away from the Ovidos and so forth and so on. And of course, you know, you got that great scene where Indy faces off against the Arab swordsman. And he's bringing out this, and this dude's bringing out some serious movies, and Indy's like, I'm not having some of this, so I'm just like, just takes it down. You know, there's a great supporting cast: Karen Allen, Paul Freeman, John Rhys Davies, of course. You know, that's wonderful with Sala. You know, of course, you know, how many times we mentioned the scene where they're about to go into the world of souls, and Indy's just petrified. You know, exasperated by the fact there's snakes down there. So snakes. Why do they have to be snakes? It's like, and he's like, and it sounds like asp. Very dangerous. He said, "You go first." Yeah, he's just so marvelous in that role. It's just like, you know, like you're being fooled not to love this movie. It's just like, you know, yeah, and yeah. Well, in the end, while Star Wars was more important from a pop culture standpoint, you know, Raiders, you know, is immensely as entertaining. It's just, you know, it's just a movie, you know. Even though you've seen it so many times, you can't help but, you know, be wrapped up and just feel that same kind of excitement as she did the first time.
Once again, we see there's nothing you have that I cannot take away.
Who knows, Dr. Jones? In a few years, you might be worth something.
All right. Thank you, Chris, very much. Obviously, I mean, right, you know, whether Raiders or Last Crusade, you can't go wrong with Indiana Jones. All right, well, with at least those two. All right, Colton, number 2 on your list, go.
Originally, it was going to be Return of the Jedi, but then I had to take it off the list because, well, no Return of the Jedi or Empire Strikes Back. So instead, it has been replaced by a movie that just takes one phrase to sum up. Now I have a machine gun. Ho, ho, ho. Holy crap. I should have been careful with that.
Yeah. That worked out so much better in your head, didn't it?
Yeah. And then I just tossed it aside. I'm like, holy crap, I almost hit my camera was like right behind me, so I almost hit it with that Nerf gun. But yeah, I have gushed about Die Hard repeatedly about how I think it's the action movie, one of the best, you know, great action. It's got the story is simple as all hell, but they managed to really work with it despite the fact that I talked about how much I love how John is actively trying to get help, yet the help keeps screwing him over. No fucking shit, ladies. It's not like I'm ordering a pizza. Yada yada. I really love this movie, but I've gushed about it so much in previous episodes and we've already talked about it in length in this episode that I'm just gonna make this short and sweet and say Die Hard. Great 80s movie. It was. I will say that I loved how, despite as silly as Die Hard could be, it didn't reach the pinnacle of 80s cheese. They still managed to make it something that could actually stand out. It can still stand out. You know, it doesn't look like something that someone would watch it and say, "Yep, that was definitely made in the 80s or something like that." It has a bit of something of a timeless feel to it, I guess you could say. Well, not timeless, but you know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So that's my number 2.
All right, very good, Mike. Colton. All right, Mike. Sorry, yep. It's getting late. All right, Mike. Number 2. What is it on your list?
Well, I turned off my video so I could get on my shirt. Take a wild guess what my number 2 is.
Ghostbusters?
Who you gonna call?
Ghostbusters!
Yeah, I mean, you guys have already spoken about this at length, so I'm not going to go into too much more. It's a brilliant movie. It's a fun movie. Special effects, I mean, for the time were outstanding. Even today, they still hold up.
Yeah.
I mean, he slimed me, Egon. I mean, Paul, tell him about the Twinkie.
What about the Twinkie?
And the flowers are still on the table.
Now imagine if this Twinkie was the size of Manhattan. Now, I mean, you know, dogs and cats living in harmony, massive stereo.
Enough! I got the picture.
It's just a brilliant movie. I cannot go on too much more about it because it's just so good, and everyone else has already said all the best things. So, yeah, it's my number 2.
Yes, even though the reboot sucks, like I said, even the reboot sucks, we still have the original.
Oh,
I still have hope. I actually didn't mind the trailers. I enjoyed parts of them.
And I think we need to bring up this one fact because we've mentioned Sigourney Weaver a lot on this countdown. Has anyone seemed to forget that there's this scene where in Ghostbusters, after she's possessed by Zool, she's pretty fucking hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like you already have too many people in there already.
I don't mind being added one more. You want me inside you, baby? I'll go inside you all day.
Oh.
Take me now. Some
You got it, baby.
It's like that entire scene just comes out of nowhere. She's like, "Do you want this body?" I'm thinking,
Yes, I do.
hell,
Yes.
why do you care about sex?
Yes, I want your body. Give it to me.
It's
I'll
like,
take it. You
if
want
Sigourney Weaver wants to have her way with you, you say yes.
Oh, that is one of my favorite lines, though. Right, when someone asks if you're God, you say
yes.
I love how when he says he's not the Keymaster, she just straight up slams the door in his face. It's like he was offended that he wasn't the Keymaster or something.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm the Keymaster.
I'm a friend of his. He told me to meet him here.
And it feels like a movie that could be made today, though.
Shame it isn't.
Where do you think those stairs go? They go up, Ray.
Let me know when you get to 20. I'm gonna throw up. All right. Thank you, Mike. All right. Number 2 on my list is another movie that we've gone into detail about already, so I'm not going to go into too much detail, but it's Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
Mm-hmm.
It's what can I say that hasn't already been said? It's fucking brilliant. I mean, Harrison Ford's had a great. Sean Connery, the original, the greatest James Bond, is amazing as Indy's father. You have all the great cast members from Raiders back. You got, the lovely Alison Doody as Dr. Schneider. Yeah, some Nazi, huh?
Yeah, one of my favorite parts of this movie is like when Elsa kisses Indy. It's just like that's how Austrians say goodbye. It's just, and the German Nazi officer.
This is how we say goodbye in Germany, Dr. Jones.
And then he's like, I like the Austrian way better.
Yeah, me too.
It's like, so did I.
Actually, I think it was reversed. I think it was Indy Senior said I think I like the Austrian way better.
The funny thing is that both of those guys are old enough to be her father. Both the actors are like way older than Elsa's and whatnot.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, Sean Connery's only 12 years older than Harrison Ford. So, I mean, that's kind of interesting.
But dude was the original James Bond. Yeah,
and still the greatest. I mean,
he was pulling like broads left and right. Come on now.
Still getting hot women even at that age.
Yeah, even at that age, he can still get some ass. I hope I got that charisma when I'm in my 60s. All right, but I mean, yeah, we've already gone into a lot of details, so I won't go too much. But I mean, yeah, Last Crusade, unbelievable movie. Mm-hmm. All right, guys, this is it. Moment of truth. Mm-hmm. Our number 1 favorite movies from the 1980s. This is it. It's been a long show, I know, but we're finally here. Chris, kick us off. What is your number 1 favorite movie from the 1980s?
My number 1 favorite movie from the 80s is Martin Scorsese's 1980 masterpiece, Raging Bull.
Okay.
Raging Bull is definitely a tour de force for Martin Scorsese. And I'm quite a fan of Martin Scorsese's work. I find The Departed a little overrated. I still have yet to see Goodfellas. I've yet to see that movie, but this one is, I think, is of all the movies I've seen, like this is like his crown jewel. I mean, it's the biography about Jake LaMotta, this middleweight boxer whose self-destructiveness and his obsessive rage, basically destroys any kind of emotional relationships he has with his wife, his family. Of course, this is one that brought Joe Pesci to. This is a movie that brought Joe Pesci to a lot of people. I mean, it has magnificent, black and white cinematography, you know. And even when the time it was made, people were kind of shocked at how brutal it was and how violent it was. You know, it does not pull any punches. I mean, it's the most ambitious film Scorsese ever made in his career. I mean, he's got some great performances. Robert De Niro, you know, he just, you know, he really disappears into this role. I mean, he makes you believe that he's this, you know, this boxer who with this, you know, who expresses his he's ready to self-destruction in the path of everyone whom he loves, and he you know, so deserved that Oscar. For Best Actor for playing this role, he really dedicated himself to bring such a brilliant performance. And this is cinematic art. This is a movie that you know, I mean, is definitely should be in the pantheon of great movies. Absolutely.
All set, Mike? All set, Chris?
Sorry. Yeah.
All right, sorry, I'm getting late. All right, thank you. All right, Raging Bull. All right, Colton, you're up. Give me number 1 on your list.
Number one on my list is the original and the best, The Terminator.
Okay.
Like, the franchise has fallen victims of some very bad sequel escalation to the point that people probably...
Terminator Justice.
Yep. To the point where people probably don't even remember what was so innovative at times about the original Terminator movie. Like, for example, seeing the Terminator without its human tissue was actually a major plot twist and something we didn't know was going to happen. And boy, was that moment worth it, you know? It's like, our heroes think they've won the day, then it just comes out of the rubble, its skin is gone, and it's ready to just straight up kill Sarah and Kyle. Like, Sarah is just noticeably very scared at this moment, and it just hammers home what's so dangerous about the Terminator. That no matter what you're gonna do to this thing, until you're actually absolutely sure that it's dead, it's not going to stop. It's gonna keep coming at you. It can't be reasoned with. It cannot be bargained with. It's a stone cold killer, you know. And it's also one of Arnold Schwarzenegger's best roles, you know. I mean, I know it doesn't call for a lot of emoting and what have you, but just his sheer size and his lack of emotions, if you will, at least in this movie, where he does a good job playing an emotionless blank slate. It makes him more terrifying, I think. And like the scene where he just where he first visits the first Sarah Connor, he's like, Sarah Connor, yes. Then he just breaks down the door and just shoots her quite coldly. You know, that was pretty chilling and what have you. As a matter of fact, this entire movie was like, some people say it's like sci-fi merged with a horror movie aspect, among other things. And while most people remember Sarah Connor for being that gun-toting badass mama bear in the second film, we can't forget about how she was like in the first movie, where she might have been MacGuffin Girl, but I feel like it was an interesting take on it, in which case even though she was MacGuffin Girl in the first movie, I still liked her. She was she was like a damsel in distress, but she was a likable one, I guess you could say. Like, she made the character likable enough. She made the character someone that we would actually want to root for, and not someone that we want to say, geez, she's not worth it, just leave her. And Michael Biehn was great as Kyle Reese. You know, he was kind of straggly. It was very straggly compared to Arnold Schwarzenegger, which made their Clash of the David and Goliath dynamic pretty good. And all the more sad when Reese actually bites it at the end of the movie. Not something you expected to happen, I think. But I think that was actually kind of good, as it allowed Sarah to grow out of being the MacGuffin Girl of the movie and be a recognizable character. Granted, Arnold Schwarzenegger wound up supplanting Sarah Connor as the face of the franchise, but I still give her props for trying and what have you. It's just a very good movie that got, as James Rolfe said in regards to the Halloween series, it got raped into a franchise. I mean, okay, maybe I shouldn't say it like that. They should have just stopped it too. Alas, it was just too lucrative. It was just too much. It was too good of a thing to let go.
Yeah, they should have gone with that alternate ending.
Indeed. It's like, despite my issues with Terminator 2, had they just gone with that alternate ending, it just wraps up everything nicely, and I would have been very much okay with that, you know?
I think everyone would.
Like, Sarah was like, every day was a gift, so, and what have you, it's like, and John is alive. John's alive and well. He doesn't go through that shit he does in Terminator Genesis.
No, he becomes he's still fighting battles. It's just on a Senate floor.
Exactly. It's like happy endings are a thing we do like Hollywood. You don't have to keep putting these characters through hell just so we can keep cranking out sequels. Sometimes it's nice for them to, get to have a happy ending among other things.
Yeah, sometimes happily ever after does not go out of style. Okay.
That's why I'm okay with what happens in Crystal Skull, because at the end of the day, Indiana Jones marries Marion. It's not like we don't find out that they got divorced or that they don't like wind up still separated at the end or anything like John McClane with how he gets back together with Holly in the first movie and then
again in the second movie.
What?
But then by the third movie they're all separated.
Yeah, by the third movie, they're having problems. In the fourth movie, they're like divorced. I'm thinking, seriously, can't you guys cut John McClane a break? It'd be nice for him to have something to look forward to going. It'd be nice to give him something to look forward to in life, as opposed to having him constantly fighting all these battles and having his life just made more and more miserable and what have you. So yeah, The Terminator. It's a great movie. It's like, I don't know what more I can say about it. I just love, and I also loved how James Cameron managed to sort of work with the limitations he had. Obviously, they, like with having the human tissue covering the Terminator body, so that they obviously didn't have to show the roboticness of the Terminator unless they outside of the scene with the Terminator's eye, and then which made the reveal of the Terminator's actual skeleton all the more shocking and just action and just all more shocking. And it was a great use of stop motion special effects to stimulate its movements. Like the CGI and the skeletons and everything, while I think they're decently animated, they just don't feel as scary as the stop motion one from the original film. So yeah, The Terminator is my favorite movie. Terminator is my #1 film from the 1980s.
All right, thank you very much, Colton. All right, Mike, you are up next. Give me your #1 movie.
All right, my #1 movie is...
Oh, nice.
Back to the Future. You guys have all. I think it's on all 4 of our lists.
Yeah.
Definitely on mine.
Huh?
Definitely on mine.
Yeah, we did an entire episode on it, so I don't think I need to really go into too much into it. But for me, it is probably the perfect movie. It's a mixture of action, humor, drama, suspense, emotion. And I know I've said it. I think I said it on our Back to the Future episode. But to this day, I cannot listen to the song "Earth Angel" without going back and at least watching that scene where George and Lorraine kiss for the first time, and the picture comes right back. He gets up, he starts playing. I'm like, I get chills every single time I watch that scene. It is.
Yeah, me both.
It is one of my favorite scenes in all of cinema history. It's a great movie. I love this movie. It is my #1 movie of the 80s.
Mm-hmm. All right, very good pick, Mike. Very good pick. All right, my #1. And I think if you ask any film fan, whether they're a professional critic or just a fan in general, subjective or objective, I think they'll tell you there is no such thing as a perfect movie. But there are those that come close. And in my honest opinion, there is not a movie that has ever been made which has come closer to being perfect than this one right here. Not only is it my favorite movie of the 80s, but it is, honest to God, one of the best movies I have ever seen. It is one of the best movies ever made, bar none, and it can be summed up in just one single word. Khan! #1 on my list, Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan.
Khan!
I kid you not. This movie comes as close to perfect as you can possibly get. Everything about it, from the story, the action sequences, the drama, the suspense, the tension, everything. And there's still just these little bits of lighthearted moments to just relieve the tension, especially at the beginning. But You guys, it is so unbelievably perfect. In so many ways, it is so close to being a perfect movie. I can't. It can taste perfection.
He touched me. He touched me. Now I should
Have him.
I shall check round the moons of Libya and round the Kais and Maelstrom and round perditions.
Give him up.
Revenge is a dish best served cold.
Very
Yes, I grapple with thee.
base. I mean, guys, seriously, Ricardo Montalban is just one of the best villains ever as Khan. He's so brilliant. He's so scary. Like, he's not the most physically intimidating guy, but he just scares the hell out of you. Or maybe not scared, but he intimidates the hell out of you.
To this day, those earworms still creep me out, though.
Oh yeah.
Oh god.
Yeah. Oh my.
He's working his
Yeah.
Like,
he needs to work on his memory, though. You
My
know.
mom, you always she always squirms during that scene.
I always look away.
it is
But
such.
I never forget a face. Chekhov is. How the hell do you know who I am?
Yeah, it is just such an unbelievable friggin' movie, guys. Like, if you know someone who does not like Star Trek or they've never seen Star Trek, just show them that movie. Just show them that one movie. You don't need to show them anything else anymore. Just show them that one movie. They're going to be hooked on Star Trek. That movie is like everything Star Trek, everything about Star Trek. It's so much more. Plus, it has probably one of the greatest scenes of all time in cinema history. And I know I say this a lot about something, but this truly is one of the best scenes in cinema history. And and I remember getting a great story from this out of my dad when he went to see this. Kirk and the Enterprise whooped. Like, I'll give you 60 seconds to turn yourself in, and you give over to me Genesis. All right, Spock, input Reliance command codes. As that scene executed, they enter the code, drop the shield. Everyone on the Reliance command the shield's gone. Razor, I can. Kirk says, fire! That right there, as that scene is unfolding, my dad's telling me this great story. As he's watching that movie in theater, the entire audience just got up and just applauded. It is one of the most perfectly executed scenes ever, and it just shows you what a fucking genius Kirk is. Like, you wonder why every other Starfleet captain kisses his ass? That's why. He's a fucking genius. And no scene in Star Trek better signifies that, I think, more than that scene right there. That's why he is the man. That's why he's a fucking legend. So, yeah, guys, I cannot say enough things about this movie. Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, one of the greatest movies ever made. You have got to see it. Whether you're a Star Trek fan or not, you owe it to yourself to see that movie. It's that good.
I think one of the best things about it is that it actually you can actually watch that movie without having it actually works without you don't have to have seen any movie in the Star Trek franchise to understand what these characters are like and what they're going through. It's almost a good gateway series, a gateway entry into the series, I guess you could say.
A room for eternity. Said dead.
On!
In space, no one can hear you scream unless your name is T. Kirk.
Pretty much.
Paul, fun fact about that scene where Kirk is transferring the data, or is faking and transferring the Genesis data. From what I've read, originally William Shatner delivered it in his traditional style, and the director made him do that take several times over and over again until he just gave up and did it in a more subdued manner.
Yeah, Shatner has a tendency of going over the top if you see
Yeah, he usually amps it up.
My God.
Yeah.
I agree with you, man. It's a great film and a great sci-fi movie at that. It's not just a great sci-fi movie; it's a great movie
in period.
Mm.
Woo!
You talk about a comeback after Star Trek: The Slow Motion Picture.
Maybe I'm slowly warming up to that movie. It's still flawed.
Which one? The motion picture?
Yes.
Oh, look, it's not a bad movie by any stretch. It's just slow paced. It's just poorly paced. That's really the problem. It's just poorly paced. It's just too slow.
Yeah. plus two is too emphasized on the effects. They have too much focus on the effects. You know, it's just,
I mean, although I've never seen it, you know,
You just froze, Paul.
do what 2001. Okay, I'm sorry. Although I've never seen 2001: A Space Odyssey, I remember what the nostalgia critics saying was about it. What Star Trek: The Motion Picture, that they were trying to do what 2001 did, which worked for it, but that's not what Star Trek is. Star Trek in the beginning is a story about the human condition. Wrath of Khan had that. I mean, you talk about all the great moments like the tension, the drama, but in the end, it's also a story about a guy getting old. I mean, there's that great moment in like below, right on the planet Regula, and Kirk's just like you really see for the first time he's just like burnt out. I feel old. I feel useless. I mean, that's great character moments.
And Bones said it best. It's like, it's your birthday, Jim. Why are we treating it like a funeral?
Yeah. It's just unbelievable moment. And then, of course, I mean, obviously he got resurrected later, but I mean, the death of Spock. Dude, that just cuts you, man.
That was heavy.
That was heavy. Yes, that was heavy.
Yeah, Spock's death. Oh my lord. Yeah.
Damn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was hard. That was tough. That's tough. All right.
I have been and always shall be your friend.
Live long.
Live long and prosper, gentlemen.
May the force be with you.
Okay, come on.
Oh, Lord.
Listen, I love both. Listen, I love Star Trek and Star Wars both equally, but come on.
Yeah, let's not try to piss people both fandoms off. You know.
No, I don't mind doing it who claim that like one is good and the other is trash. I don't mind pissing them off.
J.J. Abrams you can argue that J.J. Abrams is pissing the fandoms of both series off because
I mean, to this day, Star Trek 4 is still one of my favorite movies.
Oh yeah, I could have easily put Star Trek 4 on this list. It's so good, and for a while that was my favorite movie.
Excuse me, sir. Can you direct me to the nuclear
Wessels? Chekhov's Russian accents don't go over well in 1980s America. Okay, if Reagan's here, you know the Cold War's back up. You know, détente's over. Okay.
What does he mean? Exact change.
What are you doing, you dumbass?
Double dumbass on you.
The funniest thing about the nuclear Wessels scene was the fact that none of those people were actually supposed to respond to Chekhov, but a random person actually did give him directions, so they had to flag her down and get her to sign a waiver. Yeah, this is a very good episode, guys. I loved it.
All right, guys. So that is going to wrap up our episode. I know it's been a really long one. I'm sorry about that. We kind of got off to a late start on this, and it's been a long one, but I appreciate y'all sticking with us for this long, and I want to thank y'all for being here. With Max, it was nice having Max here. So hopefully you can stay longer. We need to get Kayla back on here. I know we've been busy, but I mean, and I understand it, but we need to try and start a little earlier. Maybe we can get him to join us. All right. Chris, as always, my friend, it is an absolute pleasure to have you here.
Right. They talk about talk about these. The 80s may not be my favorite decade of movies, but it's great discussing some actual great movies from this time.
Indeed. Colton, my friend, it is a pleasure having you here.
Always a pleasure to be around, Paul. Thank you.
All right. Mike, wherever you are, I appreciate you being here as well. I know that with Geek Salad you're always busy, but we appreciate you being here.
You still here? Come on.
Okay, nothing's stopping that. Let's close it out.
Yeah. I actually got that reference, but it's from Deadpool because he did that at the end too.
Yeah. Well, he was doing a Ferris Bueller reference.
Oh wait, you're expecting some kind of? Well, we don't have the budget for that. I mean, we expecting Sam Jackson to show him like a leather jacket. Go home. All right. So for next week's show, we are going to be continuing to show love for the 80s by counting down our top 10 favorite songs from the 1980s. We're going to change things up a little bit for next week. The 80s were a fantastic time for music.
Crazy.
So we're going to count all those down. So we hope you'll join us for next week. Maybe you might be inspired to put some new songs onto your iTunes playlist or wherever you get music. So we will see you then for next week's show. Until then, have a great week, everyone.